before getting Me Too'd, and after.
Heal and move on. And for Johnny, you know, his family has been completely wrecked by all of this stuff, and it's not fair. It's not right what she did and what happened for so many people to get affected from this. It's insane.
And Mr.
You know what? I talk to your mayor.
Hey, we love that umbrella guy. All right. Thank you. Hey there to all you fine folks. How are you doing today? Welcome to a Sunday edition of Man, That Lady Has to Be Crazy, starring the one, the only, the venerable #MePoo. #MePoo is trending still. I hope everybody's doing great today. So today I want to expose a few things to you. Man, they are good there. Fun times too. Oh, good stuff. Very, very good stuff today. I mean, we are talking about her admitting fraudulent items into the courtroom. We're talking about her playing around with evidence. And then tomorrow, we're going to lead this into something else. What I'm going to do tomorrow, I'm going to do part of this in a video, and I'm going to do part of it in a live stream, and you will not want to miss that one either. I'm going to expose the witness, the expert witness, Dr. Dawn Hughes. I'm going to expose her as a clout clout-seeking charlatan that has no idea what kind of cases that they're covering. In fact, they have admitted that's what they are in the past. They have been removed from cases for doing the exact same thing that you see them doing in the JD versus that certain Aquaman Starlight case. Oh, it's going to be good stuff. You're going to enjoy it all. Like I said, we start today. We start tearing apart evidence. Tomorrow, we tear down a quote-unquote expert witness. Oh, man, always good stuff. By the way, happy Mother's Day to all the mamas out there. You are definitely appreciated, folks. Oh, it'll be good. Yes, she is a clout-seeking, bully for hire, fraud, and a charlatan that has admitted in the past that she knows nothing about the cases except what she has been told about them via media normally. She goes in with the same script every single time testifying. I mean, it will blow your mind. It will freaking blow your mind. We putting that together. I'd help my wife, pulled up a bunch of stuff on this. We pulled up a bunch of other stuff as well. It's insane how much stuff is out there. Equally insane, though, like I said, is what is coming up with Heard herself. Like, she is admitting easily proven fraud into this case. Oh, you're going to enjoy today. Before we get started on it, though, let me mention something very briefly. We have our book. I want to mention this before we get started. I will pin it to the top of the chat. This is our third comic book. We talk about industry being out of control. We talk about industry problems. Well, you know what? We can either talk about them forever or we can actually do something about it. And that's what we're trying to do. Industry empowered the mess that we're looking at today, too. They absolutely allowed this stuff to happen. Why? Because they can. Because they figure you'll never walk away from them because, heck, they've been in control of everything from entertainment to comic books. They've been in control of it for years, so why would you ever do anything? The thing is, though, people, they should expect more. You should walk away from them because you can, but when you're walking away, you should walk toward something, and that's what we're trying to give you, something to walk toward. I'm going to put the link in the top of the description. You can check that out at your leisure, but I mean, we're talking solid artwork. We're talking about, something that is all ages, family friendly. You can see the Umbrella comics. That's because the little Umbrella girl, that was the avatar for my then 5-year-old when we started it. We're up to 8 now because we've done 3 of these. We do about 1 per year. But yeah, let me pin that to the top. And good times, good times. Like I said, we could complain about the companies involved here. Like, they get such a break. And it ticks me off when we see it. All right, so let me show you some stuff here. Let's see. The first thing that I want to show you is something that we can't cover a lot of this in videos because what happens if you show pictures and you show you show evidence, you show battery pictures. This platform loves to they love to throttle that kind of stuff. They don't like people to see it. So we have to cover this in live streams. All right, Arlene, thanks for the 5. Thank you for that. A super sticker, the dancing one. That's cute. I like it. Appreciate that. When you look at this, I want to show you something here. So this is this evidence right here. You notice this picture. You may have noticed it in the courtroom. Here's a difference, though. This is what was admitted in UK 2020. Now, I'm going to show you a difference between what they've done and how they've taken raw data pictures and they've essentially played with color correction. They played with clarity correction. They have made evidence what it wasn't. So this is the original picture. I want you to drink this in. Very easily tell the difference here too. This is again what they put into UK 2020. Notice like you can't see the picture behind them. You can't make this stuff out. That's how the picture originally was. This is what they've toned in to Virginia. Notice the difference in this? It's not just a correction. You'll notice you have items popping up, and some of these items aren't real. I got a breakdown for you, a great breakdown for you, showing real picture, what was in UK 2020, now Do you see any injuries in this? Do you see anything whatsoever? They come out of nowhere. They're not just a clarity enhancement. I mean, we are talking about overly enhanced. Stacy Turner, thanks for the 10. And that super sticker, appreciate that too. Eve Barlow's Rotten Crotch Crows, thanks for the 2. Hashtag believe all nutters. That sounds like her purview. Bead, thanks for the 5. I survived 2 DV relationship. One with a man, one with a woman. I believe Johnny. I think Amber is lying. Any gender can be a victim of DV. That is definitely true. And any gender can be a perpetrator. When you look at this, again, why are they allowing it? That's a good question. Why aren't people fighting against this? Because again, okay, look at the eye here, for example. You see all of this? And look, he was so crazy here. Look, he bit off her collarbone. It's just gone. He chewed it off. What a monster. Really, though, look, in the original, she has a white shirt, right? They are enhancing these to the point that look at her shirt now. It's no longer white. It's bringing out other coloration because it's over enhancing the shadow in it. And again, it gives you a disproportional look at anything. You can make things pop up. Now that, if that was the only problem with these pictures, that would be bad enough, I would say. But it gets even worse. All right, so we have a wonderful breakdown by Andy. Andy is, he is good at this stuff. He is very good at this stuff. In fact, I love his reports. You would see his early ones in many other places, but here pretty much you see them exclusively here now. Andy's been showcasing them. I appreciate him too. He's a great person. Miss Doglover, thanks for the 449. Tug, have I missed you talking about how AH slipped up mentioning Kate Moss in the stairs and how it strengthens JD's case? We could see Kate on stand. Yeah, I don't think we'll see Kate Moss. I think, she was brought up in 2020 as well. They tried to use her as a weapon, and it's just like they used Vanessa Paradis. They used her too. And Vanessa Paradis actually has given a statement for Johnny Depp, pro Johnny Depp, but they still weaponized her. Now, all of that, a lot of that is probably because you can't admit anything else around them. They have to be very careful about what they bring up or what they say and what they allege. They can't bring up any direct quotes from any of those folks, so it limits what they say. Yeah, could that open them up to something? Sure, but I don't think that we'll see them. And thanks for the 10. Do you think the defensive lawyers are setting her up to crack under cross and file mistrial for reasons of insanity? No, I think they're gonna crack her on cross, but they don't want a mistrial. They want to win. I see that as the only way for her to come out saving some sort of face. Oh, for the defense, my bad, her lawyers. No, her lawyers, this is all they have. What they need to do is they need to present a feeling, not factual case. They need you to believe that everything that she said is real. All of the pictures that she's saying are real, and that just, it doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. Chicken Canada, thanks for the 7 there. Question, may I have a wrench? I'm 24/7 here. Let me think about it. I haven't, like I said, I'm very reluctant to hand out wrenches very much. Let me think about it. I'll think about it. I don't like giving them out without thinking about it. And that's no statement on anybody. I usually give it 24 hours of thought, but I'll think about it. Okay. I'll consider you on there. Eugene Knight, thanks for the 2. Dr. Hughes, Google reviews. Not looking too good. Yeah, she had a bunch of them removed. Okay, so the same pictures that we saw here. Here's Andy breaking them down. And Andy does an even better job. He doesn't just say that those things there are enhanced. He's saying those were added. They were added after the fact. Quote, in my previous analysis, I have highlighted the fact that she slightly raised cheek mole could be seen across all injury photos she gave into evidence for incident 12 in the UK trial, which I'll show you that breakdown to today, other than the photo of her standing in front of the fridge. So in other photographs, she has a mole that shows up, you can see, but it disappears from place to place. I've made the point that the mole could not have yet formed, and hence that the photo of her in front of the fridge must have been taken at a different time and well before the other injury photos of the same incident. This is provable too. Okay, this is absolutely provable. This is further supported by the 2 calendar pages that can be seen on the fridge door behind her. The top one that shows the month of either January or February, almost a year prior to the incident. You can see right here. You notice that calendar behind her? Notice that is January 2015. Now, what doesn't make sense about it is we're talking about photographs that are supposedly from December 2015. So you're going to tell me that they kept up a paper calendar on their refrigerator for that many months. I mean, that wouldn't make sense anyway, right? Unless this was a picture that popped up after the fact, you know? Sherry, thanks for the 20 there. She does not represent my husband or my sons for DV survivors. She makes me physically ill. Yes, she is absolute trash. She is. She is absolute trash. Twilight Dragon, thanks for the 10. Hey there, Tug. I might be a little bit behind on something with the trial. Turd mentioned during the testimony that Rocky, my then best friend, did they have a falling out and she expected to testify? We don't know if she'll testify, but they did have a falling out. Apparently, so Rocky and her apparently had a physical altercation. We heard about that during Shannon Curry when she was talking. We heard about that there. So, yeah, I mean, they did have some kind of falling out, which would be expected. You know, she would be hard to deal with regardless. But if you had nothing positive to gain from her, like, why would you ever be around this person? Hey, Chicken Cannon, thanks for 279. I even credit your vids on the channel. Yeah, of course. Like I said, I always think about people, before I make any decisions like that. But I'll definitely keep it in mind. Paulo P, thanks for the 179. Can JD's team do something about these edits? I don't know. I don't know what they can do. I mean, we turn over everything. Trina, thanks for the 2. Have JD's team checked all the metadata? Well, they had a weird thing about the metadata. If people haven't kept up with this. So, in November the 8th, 2021, Amber Heard was supposed to turn over. She was ordered to turn over all metadata. It was supposed to be turned over by November 30th, 2021. JD filed a motion in March 2022 saying she still hasn't turned over everything. We haven't heard anything about that. So I don't know what the end result of that is, but I have the feeling that the judge was like, oh, well, essentially. Now, what I always wondered about that was, why didn't JD's team file, say, in January? Not in March. Why did they wait so long to file something? And maybe that caused them a problem. I'm not really sure. But we don't know what the answer to their filing was there. But yes, they did have a metadata expert. They assigned him to everything. And we don't know what came of that. Nathan Jasper, thanks for the 10. Newsweek put out an article comparing AH to Kristen Stewart. I commented saying, leave Kristen Stewart alone. Is an insult to even mention her name in the sentence. They rejected the comment. Of course they did. Kristen Stewart, what a mess. And from When Adam, thanks for the 10 there. I fear if AH fills corner, she'll reveal he lost in UK to get a mistrial. Well, they've got to be pretty desperate to put her on the stand already. Because they didn't build to anything. They went right to her. And I mean, again, that tells you that their entire case, it is indeed predicated on the idea of feelings over fact. But it's a flimsy case when you have to do that. Now, as they note, continuing, however, Ms. Heard introduced the same photo into evidence in the UK trial, only this time the mole has miraculously reappeared on her cheek. You'll notice she has a mole that appears not there anymore. Again, this is the one photograph that wasn't there, which is strange. Bad Vibes, thanks for the 21 months. Tug, the Australia Detox audio proved Amber lied about 90% of the event. Yes, we'll play some of that tonight too. It'll be really fun. Johnny minimized the drugs, but was honest about his part. Yep. We'll play that. We'll play part of that. Again, if you've never checked out Incredibly Average either, he does a great job with the Australia breakdowns. Oh my God, they're so good. Now, below are the two magnified images of the same part of her face, taken from the original UK and the Fairfax PDF images given into evidence by her. There is no doubt that the photographs UK was airbrushed to remove the mole and other nearby blemishes from her cheeks. You can see, like here. You notice how, again, this stuff, it disappears. Now, you can see where they had a lighting effect here, but again, that's not because, it's because they've been playing around with this stuff. They've been playing around with the images. Now, the bruise seen directly below her right eye is also significantly different between the two photos. Using the circle, a reflected light seen in her right eye as a marker. So you can use this as a marker here. Okay, you can see the differences there. Give me 1 second. The yellow dash line drawn vertically from the marker does not intersect the bruise seen in the UK photo, but does intersect the bruise in the Fairfax photo with a significant amount of the bruise to the left side of the intersect. Now look at this. See, this is what they're saying. If you draw a line straight down this, look, it doesn't intersect here. Here, however, if you draw a straight line from that light, notice how much it bleeds over. So there's nothing here in the original. But here now in this new picture, look at what we have in difference. Look at the detail that they've added to that. The detail that, well, doesn't seem very real, does it? Carolyn Starr, thank you for the $13.99. No statement with that, but plenty of statement backing. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Appreciate all of you, too. Thank you for being here. If you're new to the channel, by the way, hit that subscribe button. That's it. And check out our merch if you want to. And check out our book. But we have merch, like we have shirts that all profits from shirts go to charity too. By the way, this coming Sunday, not this Sunday since it's Sunday, but next Sunday, that's my birthday. So woohoo, we're gonna be streaming right on my birthday with this mess. But Evelyn McNulty, thanks for the 10. Has anyone looked into cheek implants she's done in 2016, which could have caused the red cheek photos? I don't know the medical records they've looked into. There's also, like people have noted, Botox injections and other items. And I don't know if they've matched up medical procedures when that happens. I'm not privy to that specific information, you know? So Claire? Thanks for the super chat there. Don't you think it's possible that she drugged JD in order to get pics and voice recordings? Oh, yeah. She talks about it all the time. Him having, why don't you take another like Xanax, or why don't you take another, she's always trying to get him to take things that are sedatives. So yes, I very much believe she was drugging him, for calming, as she says. But yes, she was encouraging drug use, which is something she says she doesn't do. Candace, thanks for the 2. No statement. Plenty of statement in that. Thank you. Hey, who is that? That's it. Open casket facelift. Hey, your birthday's tomorrow. Happy birthday to you. Hey, let me send you a birthday wish, by the way. I hope Amber doesn't poop on your pillow tonight. There you go. That's your birthday wish. Have a happy one for sure. So, the vertical arrowed yellow line, which points to the dark blemish in each of the two photographs, intersects the corner of her eye at totally different portions between the respective photographs, thereby proving them to be different blemishes, neither of which is seen in the other photograph. Like when you look at this is absolutely true. I mean, look at that. Like they're not seen in one another. It's not like they've been enhanced. If you look at the way that they grow, the way that they push out, because look at how much adds on to it. This isn't just a retouch and adding clarity to make color jump. This is going in and it's editing your photograph. Michael Singer, thanks for the 2. Same for sleeping photos. Oh yeah, there's like 4 sleeping photos they added in a row. I've been going through, so you can pull up all the evidence after a couple of days. They'll upload everything that they have, and some of that stuff we're going to talk about the bottle today too. So there are also a dark line that forms a V shape. It's indicated by the blue arrow, which can be seen across the bruise in the Fairfax photo, but cannot be seen in the UK photo. So you see, again, dark line that forms a V shape. See the V shape to it? But it's not there. Again, that's not just a color up to make it stick out. Although you can see what they've done with pouring in too, because you can see the pores jump out in their nose. Again, she's playing with clarity shift and color shifting, but it's more than that. The bruises are not even the same shape. And the bruise in the Fairfax photo seems slightly lower than the one in the UK photo. So if you compare these, again, looking at the sizes there. Bad vibes, thanks for the 5 there. That umbrella guy. Did JD fire Nathan, his personal assistant, who was Ledger's assistant until Ledger died? I'm not sure. I know I'm not sure who he's kept around as a personal assistant. I mean, I've kept up with people as far as the trial is concerned. Oh, by the way, so there was one thing in the trial that I was really impressed by that came from JD's team. That was them managing to keep out the Stephen Deuters text. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but that is one. It was a huge win for JD. You remember, if you watch the case, she complains about him communicating through his agents with her. And they were like, nah, hearsay, got to strike that. And they did. Well, one of those people was Stephen Deuters. Stephen Deuters, you can tell, is placating her in some stuff. But you know how they like to clip stuff and only, not provide any context with it? You can use some of that to weaponize. And that was the one thing in the case I thought, if they have any ammunition whatsoever, they'll use him. He's not in there. So I found that to be fascinating. They struck his stuff. That in UK 2020, it came up. And but in this one, struck. Jules Jones, thanks for the 3. And the super sticker there. That's funny. I like that. Bad vibes, thanks for 5. According to the audio, Nathan was supplying substances to JD and AH. Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about there. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's still around, though. I do know who you're talking about, though. Yeah, I've got you now. So it is evidence that an image of a bruise has then been layered on top of each photo. Probably at a separate occasion, using a photo editor, and that the process of feathering or blending the edges and the body of the bruise has significantly changed the appearance of the bruise between the two photos. The above analysis gives irrefutable proof that the bruise seen under her right eye has been photoshopped onto a pre-existing photo. In this case, a photo that was evidently taken months before the actual instance. And this is the problem with metadata. And there's quite a bit of proof that they monkeyed around with their metadata. Quite a bit of it. But I mean, you have items that, you could just look at things that are setting in backgrounds, things that pop up in images, and you can tell that they have monkeyed around with the metadata. But also you have irrefutable evidence within their data breakdowns that bring that up. Now, there's a few other documents. I want to show you the incident breakdown with the anatomy of fake bruises, too, since we're on this place here. Fan art exhibit, thanks for the 5. Tug, all this evidence you've dug up in the last couple of days. Are you getting to JD's lawyers? This stuff is explosive. I pass on everything. And let's just say that we have a lot of friendly people that watch our shows. I'm not saying that JD would, because he's a witness, but there are a lot of people out there that are allowed to watch shows, that do watch them, that will always get what needs to go there too. But yes, even if they didn't see it that way, yes, we always pass on everything. Connie Van Loo, thanks for the 10 and the super sticker. Appreciate that. But yes, I always make sure to pass on anything. So if I think it's important, but you'd be surprised by who watches. And I'm not just talking about the show. I'm talking about who watches on Twitter and everything else, because the people keep up because they know a lot of this case was built. It was built by Adam Waldman, and it was also built up, though, by people that were just rummaging around trying to find things, too. Because they would find multiple things, myriad things. Batsy, thanks for the 20 there. Hello, Tug. Hope you and your wife have a wonderful Mother's Day. I sent you some emails about something I stumbled across. I apologize for filling your inbox. I just found them interesting and should be addressed. Yeah, I've been looking through all the emails. I've been catching them all up. I'm getting about, just to say, like with the case kicked up, slow day, I get about 130 emails. Big day, I get about 300 emails. So it takes me a bit. That's why I don't write everyone back, because I don't have time. But I've been catching up all emails. So I've been looking through everything that people said. It's a bunch, though. That's what I say. Candace, thanks for 5. Since the original picture was admitted into evidence in the UK trial, can they bring that pic in for comparison to the ones admitted in this trial? They could if they wanted to. They could look at any evidence. And they could also, if they really wanted to, they could start debunking some of this as well. You have... Okay, so incident 14. We haven't gotten to incident 14 yet, but I want to show you the anatomy of a fake accusation taking apart. So here's some other prepared debunking. Injury photos debunked, incident 14. Now, again, we haven't gotten there in testimony, but we will get there. Well, thanks for the 5. After this will be your next focus. I'm sure there are other cases out there to explore that are just like this. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm going to look at the Marilyn Manson case because it's a fascinating one. I'm going to talk to that Colonel Kurtz. I'm sure if you haven't checked her channel out, she's been covering that a lot. But they bring up Manson a lot. I don't think I've looked into a few of their things, and I've kept up with some of the stuff that she's put out there, and that looks like a very fascinating case to keep up with. I'll probably keep up with some Hollywood hypocrisy too. I don't really know. I have no idea. This one, I'm still looking at it. We got another month of this stuff. And then we have, through this month, this case, it'll roll all the way through the month. And then there will be breakdown of what happened probably for a few more weeks. And after that, I don't know. I don't know what's after that. Nathan, thanks for the 5. Someone posted a video of all the times AHU's movies. Yeah, I saw that. Even poop on the bed was straight from Alpha Dog. She's deeply delusional. Well, she thinks that Hollywood is real life, and she thinks that you think Hollywood is real life. That's the keys to those statements, I think. Laura Kelly, thanks for the 20 there. Do they even know? Do they know even if her team didn't bring it up? Now, evidence exhibit 155. It's called Amber's. So they entered the 2017 one into evidence as the one she used. Can they call it forward if she doesn't say she lied? They can bring up anything. Yeah, they can bring up anything that's added, by the way. Charlie's London, what's up? Thanks for the 449 Tug. We're 3 hours, 57% funded. God bless. Yeah, I actually backed you already. You guys rock. Thank you for the encouragement. Yes, so Charlie's London. Here, Charlie's London, I want you to post your link. So Charlie's London has a book out, too. It's good stuff. This will be their second book. Their first one was great. They're going to post a link in the description. Check it out for sure. And we'll be talking about it on other streams as well, because, yeah, it's good stuff there. So here's breakdown. I'll catch up some super chats in just a minute. We'll just go back and forth. But this document takes an in-depth look at 4 photographs given by her, all of which show facial injuries that she alleged to have been inflicted by him on this is the May 21st incident, which we'll get to soon enough. This analysis will show that these photographs could not have been taken within hours of each other, nor each taken on the date given by the metadata. Therefore, the photographs are not only staged, their respective metadata must necessarily have been manipulated Now, all of these, they were shown in NGN's closing submissions. They are the photographs that will be closely examined in this analysis. They were selected as the subject photos because their high-resolution copies are available in public domain. So you can see all of these that are going to be looked at here, all right? So who took photos? Now, this becomes a question in everything that we look at as well. Everything. Actually, let me show you something else before we look at more injury photos. I want to show you one other thing that I covered earlier. This is an Andy document too, and some people didn't understand what I was talking about, okay? So I want to show you this. This is actually a brand new thing, but I want to show you this before we look at those. Just give me 1 second. I know I switch gears real fast, but I want to show you this. This is something I was discussing about a lie in Australia, and we just heard this, so that's why I want to go over it. She keeps saying that she barricaded herself in a room, right? That she had nothing to do with any of the stuff that went on with Johnny Depp, right? The problem is, though, if you look at it, okay, her statements say that she barricades herself into the master bedroom and goes to sleep for 12 hours. So she's not involved in any of the fracas or any of the fray, right? The only problem here is if you look at this, all right, you have, when you go up the stairs, you can go into the master bedroom, right? You see the walls here. There are no other doors that lead into the master bedroom, right? There is no connection with the other areas. I mean, it is its own thing. And then there's an outside balcony. But the balcony, the way that it intersects, again, unless he's shimmying up sides or unless, he's busted out of a thing, which none of that was reported. She went to sleep, she said, for 12 hours. She was uninterrupted. All right, there's a problem. We have photographs that come from the master en-suite. That would be the bathroom right here. Those are the painting photographs. The ones where you have the art that JD, that he left behind. Let me pull those up, actually. Just give me 1 second. I'll pull those up, too. Now, the mirror photographs, the ones that where, again, he is drawn on the mirrors, those come from the master bathroom. All right, so if they're coming from the master bathroom, the problem that you have with that is that how would he get into the master bathroom if everything was locked off and she was telling the truth? See, what she has to do is she has to convince the jury that she had nothing to do with all of the volatile crap that went on. See, these are the pictures that were taken in the master bathroom. This is the master en-suite, all right? Now, again, she's saying, I'm locked into the master bedroom. If she's locked into the master bedroom, JD would not have access to draw this crap on anything. So, again, that can't be true. She couldn't have just gone in and taken Xanax and just gone to sleep or whatever, whatever but like so many other things, this shows that she lied. And when you compare this to incredibly, a lot of people think that the audio that has been popping up about Australia is new audio, and it's not. It is not at all. It is new audio in the fact that other people may not know it exists, and I'm glad that it's getting out there, but it is not new audio. It has been around for the longest time. One of the best breakdowns that we have of that audio, telling you what really happened here, what really led to all of this, it's from Incredibly Average. If you've never checked out Incredibly Average, by the way, one of the best. This is the guy that got me involved. Not because he and I ever had contact there. I think I've had just incidental contact with him once. It's not like I know him in any way, but his videos, they inspired me to get involved. One of these is a breakdown of the audio from Australia. Because what happened is, Heard brought it up on the stand too. She tried to say that JD hit record on her phone. Haha, got you. And they played a little snippet from it. But what really happened is she recorded and she thought her phone died. She actually brings this up at the end and she's shocked when all of that comes back up. And the reason that she's shocked is because she admits what she did here, and there's a lot of admission on record. I mean, listen to some of this, and I excuse some of the. If you got headphones on, adjust your volume low and then walk into it. I'm warning you, because like this again, this is a phone just sitting around. The audio has had to be adjusted and everything else, but again, it is well worth it. There's a lot more of it than I'm playing here, but I just want you to listen to a few minutes, okay? So check this out. I mean, this is your admission of what actually transpires that night. And like I said, this is bombshell stuff, because she admits she cut his finger off. She admits that she trashed the place. She admits to using drugs. She admits to everything on this tape. Listen to this stuff.
How big of a piece of skin are you looking for?
We're looking at this. We're looking at like a third of the tip of the finger. And it's that, I mean, he's going to get cellulitis.
I'll tell you what input for this video. So they're looking for his finger. All right, so they're looking for his finger. And you can see Dr. Kipper here. This is the main doctor that is involved. He's talking to the nurse. The nurse, I can't remember anything that happened. They're looking for his finger. You have Amber in the background. Remember, Amber is telling you, by the way, that she has just been accosted in. I'm sure if you didn't hear the testimony, just think glass on feet, glass over body, a million different things have been done to her by now. On top of that, we have the new glass bottle accusation. So when you're listening to her through this, remember that's what she is alleging now.
Maybe she should have something.
Maybe she should be given something. I never meant to hurt him. Okay, people are asking, can this be used in court? Some of it. You can use this stuff with Dr. Kipper involved, because Dr. Kipper has been there. They could argue over it, but they could use that. They can't use the parts. Jerry Judge will be in here. Jerry Judge is deceased, so he can't come into it. But yes, certain parts of this have already been used, in fact. They tried to weaponize it to take away its sting. But now they're talking about right here, what can they do to calm her down? What can they do to treat her? And look at what they're talking about. This tells you that she has no physical injury. I didn't do it on purpose. This too. Did you see that? I didn't do it on purpose. Here, let me bring that back up. I didn't do it on purpose. That's what she's saying in the back. I didn't do it on purpose. She's talking about cutting his finger off. I mean, my God.
I told Danny his brother used to this.
Now here, this is actually a statement that helps JD out on the whole covering with the police thing, because the doctor, the nurses, they told Ben King that they would cover if the police investigate. They don't want Amber Heard found out then, because Johnny wanted to protect her. Like, she flees Australia. She flees to the States because she's afraid she'll be prosecuted. That's why she leaves so quickly. But they're also saying, yeah, we'll cover it if that comes up. Okay, so now they're talking about Seroquel. Seroquel is going to be utilized to calm her down. So they're talking about treating her because of a manic state, because of how out of control she is.
300
Yeah.
She only usually takes one.
Okay, so her dose typically, she's on Seroquel already. She normally takes 25. The nurse asks, you want me to double that? You want me to give her 50?
You okay with 50?
Oh, the Seroquel?
Yeah.
I'd be okay with.
And the doctor says, I'd be okay with 4 times the dose to calm her ass down. You want to dose her up and horse tranquilizer? You have my blessing. You need to calm her down because she is crazy right now. And again, remember, none of this is because of physical ailment. It's all because she is in the background going nuts because she thinks Johnny Depp is going to walk away from her because she's crazy as hell. Now, Kipper's going to give us some good stuff in a second.
I'll tell you what's going on now.
Look at that stuff.
This is guilt.
No, I'll tell you what's suddenly happening with her. This is guilt. This is guilt. She's guilty over what she did. That's why she's having a breakdown. Dr. Kipper, at that moment, he's telling you that she knows what she did. She's a monster.
She won't take 50. I gave her 25 and 300 and said you reassess in a little bit.
So she refuses medication to calm down, too. She's refusing to calm down. So even in the middle of this, with them searching through the trash for Johnny Depp's finger, that's what they're doing during this. They have to stop and treat her because she is out of control. Even during that, she will not calm down. She won't take anything. And she makes it all about her. It's all about her feelings. I can't lose him. So she's telling you in the middle of this, again, in retrospect, that Johnny Depp did all of these terrible things to her. Again, with a glass bottle and even more. And she's going to be sitting around, not needing medical aid. She needs aid to, again, to go after the feels, not to go after anything that's physical. And she's lamenting the fact that she may lose him. Doesn't sound like that's truthful on the stand, does it? Now that's Jerry Judge.
Ben saying that as we speak, I'm saying David still got a bloody job, so you know what's going on. She made a point against me, she can't trust me. Because when that's all proceeding.
So look, Jerry Judge has called the sister of Johnny Depp about the situation, saying, look, she's been in contact, I've been in contact, because I told Christy that she called him a fat old man. So here we have this documented in the moment that she's actually verbally abusing Johnny Depp. That those statements about him being called a fat old man and a deadbeat dad and all of those things, those are real. She absolutely did it. We have documentation in the moment. Only her narrative of how that came up, well, it suddenly seems to shift.
And he told me she's listening, she wants to go where he is, she knows he's gone, she thinks she's going to lose another sale.
Look, here's an admission. Did I do this? Did I do this to the whole floor? Did I trash this place? That is an admission that all of that damage she's blaming on Johnny Depp right now, astounding, isn't it? Did I do this to the whole floor? Her own words, again, in the moment. She doesn't remember. You know why she doesn't remember? Because she was on hallucinogens, she was on ecstasy, she was on Adderall, she was on Xanax, her own admissions, which will come up later.
How long does it took it?
And this was today, by the way, not just paying anything. It is.
What's this process that we got? What's the last one we're doing? When did you start from over there yourself?
So she slams herself into a... Now, look, that's where she locks herself into another room. So she leaves, but she's leaving not because of fear. She's leaving because she doesn't want to be confronted with the reality of what she's done here. Now, later on, she'll come back into the conversation. There's a lot of conversation in this, but there's another part. She blames Johnny Depp for drug use. We have to take her word on that, by the way, if we actually believe that. But she makes an admission in here by her own words. And again, she's tried throwing Johnny Depp under the bus quite a few times, so I'm very reluctant to use her wording. But here she comes back in, and she's talking about drug use. And she'll make a big admission here. See, she's talking about how... Now, look, Jerry Judge said, wait a minute, you never mentioned anything about Coke before. Look, you already have a narrative that's starting to be presented. She's already starting to present one that was not established before. She started... So you can see, well, let me look at this. I found these baggies. They're empty. That's him using them for sure. That had to be him. And you never mention, cocaine up there. Well, look, this is what she has to say about it. Look at that. All I was popping was Xanax, Adderall, ecstasy, hallucinogens. She was definitely on the drugs that she said. Remember on the stand, she said that she was not taking anything. She wasn't involved with any type of drug whatsoever. Her own statements here to Jerry Judge. All I was popping. She's on hallucinogens through the night. God knows what she did through the night because, again, she's on ecstasy, which she said that she didn't take. That was all Johnny Depp. And Johnny Depp's saying, I don't take that. That's not my drug of choice. He doesn't deny drug use. He's never denied drug use. He was an addict to pharmaceuticals. And that's not saying that you wouldn't like another time, but, you like a specific feel. A lot of people get addicted to a specific type of feeling. She's addicted to speedballing. Because you can see it. Xanax and Adderall, she's uppers and downers. She's speedballing on it. She's taking ecstasy. Again, measuring them out with Xanax. That's speedballing. She wants the upper downer effect. And she's taking hallucinogens on top of all of that. Again, her own admission. Now listen also, remember her stuff that she said on the stand right now is about, again, how terribly she was treated, how terribly she was abused. Well, listen to what she says in the moment and how calm and metered it is. And you tell me if that fits, because there is no way in hell when I'm looking at this that it fits up. Even if she was medicated out of her freaking gourd. Listen to this. So she makes this all about her. She's afraid, again, Johnny Depp's going to leave, but she's so measured and so calm because she's trying to manipulate Jerry Judge in this conversation. I mean, again, none of this works. None of it works at all. You got to remember that there's physical evidence, too. On top of this, there's physical evidence that showcases that she's lying during that time too. One of my favorite items that has popped up. There are pictures of her legs and other stuff, but my favorite item is a promotional that she did for her newest movie. You know, she's getting ready. She keeps bringing up Eddie Redmayne, right? Because she's got a movie that's coming up with Eddie Redmayne. All right, in that they're gonna have a lot of dance. Well, now let me turn the sound off on this. Actually, it doesn't need sound. Give me 1 second. So this is what's going on in there. Again, remember, she's saying that she's been pulled through glass. She's had all this stuff happen. Look, you can see her feet, first of all. Second of all, she can use said feet. She's dancing. Now, you tell me. I don't know if any of you have ever had a foot injury, but yeah, glass ain't fun, you know. And I mean, look at that. Like, she has no problems with footing. She has no problems with putting her feet down at all. Again, you have perfect views of her, period. You know, she talks about makeup and concealing as well. Look, you can see her, the entire part of her. I mean, you can see her arms. You can see her back. You can see all around her feet. No marks whatsoever on this woman. She is so full of crap. You know, I mean, it is, you know. It's astounding. The only crap that she left on a pillow. We know why now, because it's running out of her everywhere. She's so full of crap, she has to leave crap on pillowcases. I swear. I mean, look at this. This just drives me nuts. Because people actually believe this woman for years. I believed her for freaking years. And I mean, there's stuff like this that's just laying around. All you have to do is look for it. The audio. See, when I hear people say, well, I believed Amber Heard for the longest time, but now after I saw her on the stand, I don't. What? So you had to wait for that? Is that what you're telling me? You couldn't be bothered to actually look at actual evidence? Instead, you torch somebody's life over it? You know, bravo there. Bravo, that was stunning and brave. I'm glad that you could find the time to torch someone's life, but not actually look into the evidence itself. Because again, listen and believe, baby. Listen and believe, right? It's just absolute trash to me. Kills me. When you go through the pictures that are being presented too, I mean, you have to remember, you know, the bottle thing kills me. I've been going in and I've been organizing the pictures that were taken that night. So you have the Aussie pics, okay? The Aussie pics, let me pull these up, okay? I'll show you how this goes. Let me pull this up for you here. I've got them situated in a folder. Give me 1 second. Make sure this folder is situated right. Okay. Making sure when I pulled that folder up, you don't have any words they're going to get whiny about. So, out of her evidence for Australia, she presents 4 pictures of Johnny Depp sleeping. She has destruction of beds. She has the bottle picture that she presents. We have 2 floors. We have a guitar. We have a little hole in the wall, which we'll talk about in just a second, too. We have some lamps that are ruined, a couple of paintings, rug. There's some weed. The weed picture is a big one, too, because the weed picture looks like it wasn't from the same time that they're claiming. But, I mean, when you go through it, there's nothing here, really. So, for example, okay, there's a hole in a wall, right? This was presented when she was testifying. She was asked, now, these are brand new pictures. You have to remember Ben King, who testified for Johnny Depp. He gets on the stand, and he says, there are more pictures than I turned over because I was never asked for them all. Okay, fair enough. So he's asked for his pictures. So on the 22nd of the month, he turns over his pictures. And like I said, this is one of them. She says that this picture proves that he had a bottle in his hand. He was whoops, I closed that one. My bad. I actually closed that. Give me 1 second. I boomered that one up. But she claims, let me open it again. These are PDFs. That's why I messed that one up. I minimized the window it was on. Give me 1 minute. So she claims, though, with this, again, it's proof that he was hitting a bottle against the wall. Why? Because he has tiny droplets of his blood on there, and there's a dent in the wall. Therefore, she has taken her story. She has woven in new items that weren't there before. Again, they've only had these for 2 weeks. And that's what she does. See, I have some very good sources for this trial. Very good sources. And one of those sources said something that had always stuck with me. And I bring this up all the time because it makes sense. You've got to imagine Amber Heard dancing between raindrops, when she's testifying or when she's talking about this. And then visualize those raindrops are evidence. Now, she knows that she's going to get hit by some of those raindrops, of course. She doesn't know what they are when they come down. She has to tell a nebulous story, one that can be changed anytime, any place. And when it's being adapted, when she's actually telling new parts of it, she has to be able to go in and she has to be able to adapt new evidence to it. So the problem for Amber Heard, though, now is that there's so much evidence that has come up that it's essentially like she's no longer dancing in the raindrops. It's essentially like she's caught in a torrential downpour. The evidence doesn't fit, excuse me for that. The evidence doesn't fit her narrative, so she's trying to make it fit her narrative. I mean, if you look, okay, she got caught lying about guitar, for example. I brought this up a couple of times, but I think that this is the perfect example of what kind of lies. She doesn't expect anyone to fact check anything she says. So there was a picture of guitar that was presented with blood on it, right? See it right here. Now, she says, when it's presented, that she has never played the guitar, so why would this have anything to do with her? I mean, after all, that's just Johnny Depp's passion. That's not her passion on display. That's his passion on display. You can see it prominently. The problem with that, though, is if you go Amber Heard guitar, just a simple search online, the first thing you come up with is Amber Heard playing the guitar. She's going to be playing the guitar. She plays them. So here, give me a second. Actually, you get a lot of hits with that too. I was trying to bring up the when she sings. So on March 31st, 2016, that would be after that incident, but still, connected to it. You have Amber Heard live playing guitar, singing. There are clips of this too. I'm not going to play it because they'll try to hit it there. But they were talking about, oh man, because this is right before the breakup of the marriage. Could this be a duet between her and him? Oh man, And he even said, we connect on a lot of levels, but the first thing that really got me was she is an aficionado of the blues. I would play a song, some old obscure blues song, and she knew what it was. So, she sold herself as a music aficionado. She sold herself at the time as someone who plays music, plays the guitar. She even did that publicly, but now she's denying it, which I think is awesome because she's so easily found out. Let me catch membership here. 1 second there. All right. So I had an audio file came up. It was playing in my back. I was like, where did that come from? It was making an echo. Tiff, thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the membership too. Welcome to Tugs Thugs. I will catch everybody super chatting and everything too. Like I said, I'm curious about all of your statements, but one of the biggest evidence pieces that she presented, and I say evidence, I will put that in quotations, is the bottle. Okay, the bottle pictures. And these to me, you can easily disprove her narrative about this. So Remember, first of all, these bottle pictures that she identifies, she ends up identifying these, saying that this is the bottle that JD supposedly, I'm going to say, used on her. She came up with this giant narrative about it. Again, looking at the blue lights, this happening. She thinks she's being punched, but really she feels, a discomfort with her pelvic bone. She never saw the bottle, though. That's what she's always said, right? Well, that's what she was saying with it, rather. Then you have Ben King turn over a bottle. He turns, or rather, a pitcher on April 22nd. So this is just a couple of weeks ago. And she has a recovered memory. That recovered memory is of this Maker's Mark bottle. Now, if you look at this bottle, there are a couple of things about it that give this away as a lie very easily. First of all, this thing still has alcohol in it. So JD is so effective at what he's doing that he didn't manage to spill a drop of alcohol. I mean, look at that. It still has alcohol in it. I mean, that's not unlikely. That's impossible. Like, he would definitely have spilled some alcohol out of that. Another thing that comes up is, if you see right here, so the way the wax top works, wax top would shred. It also, if you've ever dealt with a wax top, if you ever forcefully hit one on accident or anything, they do damage. They are rough. They flake, but they do damage. So if somebody was doing something terrible to you and you have a wax seal, that wax would eat you alive, That will eat you up. I mean, look, like there's no cleanup, there's no breakage in the wax. There's no way. Like this would have done so much damage to her. And let's just say in some weird world that it doesn't scratch up the wax, which is impossible, by the way. But let's just say in some alternative fantasy world, you could make it do that. That thing would tear you up inside. It would destroy you. And yet she's saying, no. This is it. And again, he didn't spill his alcohol either. You heard her on her sound files. You heard her making commentary. There is no way in hell. There's no way in hell that this happened. Like, anybody looking at it and saying otherwise, they are being dishonest. In a lot of regions, but mostly they're being dishonest with themselves. I mean, this is why, when people are asking, why bring Amber Heard up and put her in front of the jury right away? Well, they don't want a lot of their friends getting cross-examined. She'll probably bring her sister on board. She'll probably bring a couple of other people that are connected to her tale later on if she could get them in. She talks to her PR person after May 21st, for example. She'll probably want to bring that person in. But by and large, there's not a lot of people that she would want to bring in, because if she brings them in, they're going to be asked questions that in UK 2020, that was friendly. That was friendly country. Here, to quote something from the Jussie Smollett trial, this is Johnny Depp country. I mean, really, I'm surprised he wasn't screaming that in her statement. Oh, he grabbed me he grabbed me and flipped me over a table, and I thought he was hitting me, but really I felt this discomfort in my pubic bone, and all the while he kept screaming, this is Johnny Depp country. I'm surprised we didn't hear that. I mean, she's crazy. She is absolutely freaking crazy. There's a very good video by Incredibly Average too, that not just brings up the audio footage, but he did a video breaking down the Australian, the entire. Let me pull this up. 1 second. Let me pull this up. He breaks down the entire incident in Australia, though. He does a great job because he does it with animations, essentially. He shows you his channel, like I said, is the reason that when I looked at this, I invested a lot of time because I couldn't believe when I looked at this incident, I couldn't believe the narrative that she was putting together, the things that she was saying happened to her. Considering again, the truth, it conflicts with just everything about it. There's so much evidence out there, though. And like I said, if you have never checked out, so here, let me pull this up for you, okay? Like I said, he does a great job with it. She does a terrible, on the other side of that, it's not just that people do a great job reporting on it, but she does a terrible job in explaining away freaking YouTube knocked me off again. Stupid freaking YouTube. I'm telling you, they target my channel here. This happened to me twice in court while I'm covering the case. This happens to me while I'm freaking live streaming. Again, I didn't lose any connection. I didn't get flagged. None of that stuff. I just get knocked off of YouTube. Not knocked off of StreamYards that connects. I just can't connect to YouTube anymore for a few minutes. It's lovely how that happens. Oh, that irritates me. showing you. I'm like, hey, here's some evidence. Oh, can't present that crap, buddy. Oh, it kills me some days. But yeah, probably false flag. I got back on YouTube finally. My wife's talking to her. It's gonna take me just a second to pull up what I was showing you though. Like I said, I will be back if I disappear, but it's fascinating, like I say, to be covering something and just to have, oopsie, everything disappear. You gotta love that. You gotta love it. Anyway, I've got to pull the chat back up too because it killed the chat. Pokes, I tell you. Yeah, it's interesting. Like I said, they can there are many ways that you can be told not to cover something. One of those ways is, hey, let's just kill your coverage while you're talking about it. Oopsie, you can't connect to anything. My bad. And again, it's not like I have Twitter pulled up and other stuff, and there's no problem connecting to it, and there's no problem. I'm setting in Streamlabs, and I'm like, what the hell is going on right now? But of course, Of course, that just hits you right there. So anyway, let me pull up the stuff. I was going to show you her story, and this is broken down. This is broken down really well by Incredibly Average. I have to reset where I was at. Okay, so this is Incredibly Average's coverage of that. He's not a monetized channel, so I'm not taking any content there. I'm definitely crediting. I just want to show you because there is a laid out version of this that is explained, and it is explained very well. Yeah. So here we go. Check this out here. All right, we're going to start. Again, this is their floor plan. That's what we're going to start with. And this is going to have, I think you just need to see what she's explaining, okay? And again, this is modified since this first came up, but just look at it.
That she arrived in Australia on March 3rd to be with Johnny while he shot the fifth Pirates movie. She says that sometime over the next few days, Johnny went on a sleepless 3-day alcohol and ecstasy-fueled bender, physically abusing her daily, each night ending with Amber barricading herself in a bedroom to sleep. The last night of the alleged continual physical assault was extremely detailed. Amber claims that by nightfall, Johnny had hit her multiple times, shoved and pushed her to the ground, choked her and spit on her, busted down a door to a room she had locked herself in, threw cans and unopened bottles at her, and even handed her a bottle, which she claims she only threw on the ground as she refused to throw it at him, even when seemingly challenged to do so. The abuse she alleges occurred later that night only got worse. She claims Johnny pushed her onto a ping pong table, causing it to collapse under her. Then he ripped off her nightgown and choked her against the fridge. This would continue into the night, claiming she was dragged naked and barefoot across the broken glass that covered the floor and countertops. She says that she would slip on the glass and be slammed against the countertop, constantly struggling to stand as her arms and legs and feet were repeatedly slashed by the shards of broken glass. She says that while Johnny had her by the neck and collarbone as he was repeatedly hitting her with the back of his closed hand, that he also smashed a plastic phone against the wall, and a piece of that plastic phone is what caused his finger injury. And then that she eventually escaped and barricaded herself in a room again and went to sleep. Didn't call or run for help, didn't bleed out, just went to sleep. Johnny claims a completely different event and circumstances led to his finger injury, all caused by Amber. He also denies harming or assaulting Amber and denies going on a 3-day alcohol and ecstasy-fueled bender. This testimony is in a publicly available declaration, also on the Fairfax website, or you can just Google Johnny Depp declaration. Details were added in an amended filing in the UK courts, but nobody has those, as those are not public, although some details were reported in some media outlets. Johnny testified that after his lawyer discussed with Amber the need for a post-nuptial agreement, she went berserk. While attempting to avoid her, he went to the downstairs bar area and started pouring himself vodkas and drinking them, after having not had any alcohol in at least a year. She immediately followed and started throwing bottles at him, the first of which missed, sailing past his head and breaking the mirror behind the bar. She then threw a large vodka bottle which slammed and broke against the countertop where his right hand was resting. Upon impact with the counter and his finger, the bottle smashed, slicing off the tip of his middle finger and shattering the bones in it as well. After cutting off his finger, she would then take a cigarette and put it out on his face. In shock from the injuries, Johnny would go throughout the house using the blood from his injury and paint to write messages on the walls and mirrors. Not sure if any other property damage was caused as a result of his shock, but just speaking for myself, I can't blame a guy for finding another outlet to vent his frustrations
I can't
and
either.
not harming the
That's
one he
actually
loves, even
okay.
in retaliation.
This is actually we talk a lot about. We hear a lot about abuse, and we hear a lot about the way abuse victims react. All right. They blame all of this on drugs. Now you can blame some of it on alcohol. Some of it is shock. I mean, somebody has severed your finger. But the other part, like, how do you deal with it? What do? You go crazy. Like, he's gone crazy from the stuff happening. I mean, somebody that you love and care about, that you just married, chopped your finger off in a bit of rage. Then and I love how this is excused. Oh well, she didn't mean to. Even you see people that say that. Even if you follow that, well, she didn't mean to. Okay, well that's fine. What about the cigarette? She used him as a human ashtray. So, yeah, I mean, you're going to have a reaction to that. Your reaction, like many people's reaction, would be to do something very, very, let's just say, horrible to that person. Instead, there's no proof that anything horrible happened to them at all. They allege it, but who ended up in the hospital? Definitely not them. She didn't end up anywhere near medical treatment. Again, like I said, we have footage of her, dancing in the aftermath, not having any problems at all. Meanwhile, Depp he's painting with his severed freaking finger. But again, if that, like the insanity of that situation, it should speak volumes to people.
And I know it's nice to see visuals to better understand what happened, but it's also nice to hear it straight from the horse's mouth. So here's Johnny describing that very incident.
I mean, because I had a pretty nasty injury. That I actually, I had to protect her at the time. And so I said that it was caught in the door, one of these huge accordion doors at this house. That wasn't the case at all. She smashed, she threw a vodka bottle at me. And my hand was resting on the marble of the bar like that. And the first bottle went just past my ear. And the second one was a larger bottle, and she threw it from about this distance. And it smashed into the bar, and this finger, who I now call Little Richard.
See, his story hasn't changed. It doesn't change. He doesn't deviate from script. He doesn't add anything to it because, well, you draw the inference there. What does it say when somebody adds to their story again and again and again versus somebody that has consistently told the same tale? They continue to go back to the same telling of it. They continue to go back and they continue to say, this is how it played out. This is exactly what transpired. Again, he's telling you, even the Little Richard thing, that has been there, and it has been there consistently since go.
Was the tip of the finger was severed, and all the bone in here was completely shattered. I mean, it looked like Vesuvius. And then I got infections. I ended up with MRSA twice. So It's very complicated. I was trying to just get the finger back, and deal with the insanity of having had my finger chopped off by this woman that I was married to. Yeah.
See how easily the truth flows? Because, well, it's the
I mean, when you look at that, again, and the audio backs that up. The audio backs up everything that she did. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Again, you look at her statement and it makes no sense. Especially, remember, all of that new stuff, it's not added in. Again, I'm going to rewind. I want you to visualize her story. Because when you visualize it, people can, in the aftermath, somehow people can explain away a lot of it. But like I said, when you visualize it, it again, it's so insane. Just one more time. It's like 2 minutes. It's worth it.
3-day alcohol and ecstasy fueled bender, physically abusing her daily, each night ending with Amber barricading herself in a bedroom to sleep. The last night of the alleged continual physical assault was extremely detailed. Amber claims that by nightfall, Johnny had hit her multiple times, shoved and pushed her to the ground, choked her and spit on her, busted down a door to a room she had locked herself in, threw cans and unopened bottles at her, and even handed her a bottle, which she claims she only threw on the ground as she refused to throw it at him, even when seemingly challenged to do so. The abuse she alleges occurred later that night only got worse. She claims Johnny pushed her onto a ping pong table, causing it to collapse under her. Then he ripped off her nightgown and choked her against the fridge. This would continue into the night, claiming she was dragged naked and barefoot across the broken glass that covered the floor and countertops. She says that she would slip on the glass and be slammed against the countertop, constantly struggling to stand as her arms and legs and feet were repeatedly slashed by the shards of broken glass. She says that while Johnny had her by the neck and collarbone as he was repeatedly hitting her with the back of his closed hand, that he also smashed a plastic phone against the wall, and a piece of that plastic phone is what caused his finger injury. And then that she eventually escaped and barricaded herself in a room again and went to sleep. Didn't call or run for help, didn't bleed out, just went to sleep.
That's her story. Again, when you look at it, and we're going to look at her actual story with that too, but when you look at physical evidence that just, okay, looking at her in the aftermath, like I said, if you check out her dance video, again, after all of that glass story alone, her arms are visually present. Her feet visually present. She's dancing. You would be in the hospital still if this stuff happened to you. You wouldn't be dancing around with a partner. You'd never be able to do it again. You'd be lucky if you could use your feet correctly again after somebody drugged you through that much glass. You would never, ever be doing this, and especially days later. Now, they've showcased a picture of her arms from tabloids, but Amber Heard actually input a picture of her arm in the last case. She used it as evidence, saying that her arm had been cut when you look at it, when you bring that up, well, let's just bring it up ourselves, and we'll you tell me again. I'll bring it up from the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail had a picture of it right then, so I'll bring it up for you. Just give me 1 second. I'm loading it up. But you saw again, you have to remember what she claimed. You know, her claim, again, is she is savagely treated, savagely neglected. This, right here. Give me 1 second. I've got it pulled up in the background. This is her evidence of what happened. She introduced this as her evidence. Now, she didn't go to the doctor either. But this was what she introduced in the UK 2020 trial. And that was it. I mean, look at that. I mean, really, just drink that picture in, and you tell me, first of all, does that injury match up? And second of all, I mean, look at it. Let's just zoom in. And I know it's grainy and stuff, but when you look at the marks in it, the incidentals, is that somebody that has been treated the way that she just alleged? Now, there was another. What's fascinating is we have her bringing in a tabloid picture. Give me a moment and I'll bring that picture up for you, actually. It's just like I said, it's astounding to see what's used as quote unquote evidence for her. So this is one of her simp bots, by the way. I love calling them simp bots because they love to claim everyone else as bots. So this is one of her simp bots making excuses for her hell. This is her tabloid coverage. Now you see her marks in the tabloids. These are supposed to prove that all of that happened. I mean, seriously, this is what she has? Like this? This in a freaking, some kind of tabloid, some kind of photog press. That proves that. And they entered this picture as evidence. This picture that came out of, again, a tabloid. Do you have any control over it? Is there any medical attachment to anything whatsoever? I mean, if we are going to attach tabloids, I've got a perfect picture for you. You know, if anything that pops up in the media proves abuse or the lack thereof, I got a beautiful one for you. You're going to love this one. You know, it's always been a favorite of mine. So people have brought this up, and I've always been willing to not call this evidence because, again, we don't know we don't know where it came from, right? We don't know the circumstances of it. But since tabloids matter, here's a picture of Amber Heard in the tabloids, and notice she does indeed have marks and bruises on her. But where do her marks and bruises appear? They appear on her knuckles. Huh. So the real damage, we have just as many pictures that are out there in the tabloids with her having bruises and marks on her knuckles, where she's probably pummeled the absolute shit out of Johnny Depp, because that's what she's doing behind the scenes, while alleging that people are beating her. I mean, she allegedly beat him to the fucking point that she broke a remote on his head, and then stole the story and said that it was him that attacked her. Like, I've got pictures of that. Like I said, I've got these. These are exclusive here with me. Give me a minute, though. Let me pull this up. So she's actually been blamed for stealing 3 of her stories from other people. Kate James, she stole her rape story. That's what we've heard anyway. We have her allegedly stealing 2 other stories. And then, like I said, so there was during the divorce, you had Kevin Murphy contact the divorce attorney and saying, hey, I've got this picture of a remote that had been, I remembered something. Okay, here. Again, I have pictures of the remote too, but I have to dig them up, so I haven't pulled that up yet. And let me hit the Jackie Williams. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for the membership, too. Welcome to Tugs. Thugs. The memberships disappear, so they're harder to find. So I make sure to try to catch you all right then. But here's Kevin Murphy talking about a remote control. He said, hey, I remember something. There's a pic of a remote control at 1480 House that's cracked because Amber threw it at JD and hit him in the forehead about a year or so ago. They had to replace it. And now there's close-up of the remote. I'll put it in a video later on or something. But you can see it's attached to this, too. So she broke a remote control over his head and then stole his story, you know? Which is an absolute mess there. Give me a second. I'm going to have to turn I'm gonna have to turn the subscriber only mode on because the bots, you gotta love the freaking bots. You know what? Like, you know what kills me about the bots? They don't sell anything to anyone. You know, and YouTube, as much crap as they give their users, you know, like as much crap as you get as a user and we get as people that are on this, they can't keep them out. I mean, it just astounds me. I have to deal with that. I'm turning the subscribe mode on. You're gonna have to give me a minute though. I have to pull all of that up. I always hate how that has to happen in streams, you know, essentially. Because if you don't do that, then, like I said, I usually keep it until something else comes up. But yeah, I mean, you have, like I said, you have her commandeering her story. Kate James told us during her testimony that we had, here we are. All right, I'm going to turn it on. If you're a subscriber for 1 minute, bots can't subscribe. So if you're a subscriber to the channel for 1 minute, you'll be able to comment. All right. So just subscribe to the channel. You know, that way I'll keep the bots out because I see them in there. Bam. Let's nail that. Sorry about that. It took me a minute. I always hate those things, though. But yeah, you like I said, if you look at this evidence, again, they bring in everything in its mama. And what I believe that there is enough evidence to say that she stole her story from Johnny Depp. Let me say that again. She stole her story from Johnny Depp. Any freaking media moron out there that thinks otherwise, they're probably in the pocket for her. Hey, Karen Margaret. Spindler, thanks you and welcome. Thank you for the membership too. Welcome to Tugs. Appreciate that. When's Cross? Well, we have to allow her to go out and run her mouth at least another day. We're going to have at least one more day because she is only part of the way through her accusations. Actually, if you pull up, I want to go over some of her testimony. All right, like not her testimony, but her witness depo. Now you got to remember that there are 8 witness depots. I think. Let me check. I can't remember. Is it 6 or 8? There's 7. My bad. Happy medium in the middle. So it was 7. So she had witness depo. You know, her 7, and this is what, you know, she goes through all of these supposed incidents. I thought the Tokyo one was fascinating too. She didn't even bring in the Tokyo stuff because the Tokyo stuff makes her look absolutely stupid. And I was hoping that the Tokyo stuff would come in because there's a text that he sent and it came up in the UK and it talks about the monster going around. He was communicating, I think it was with Stephen Deuters. And it's something like the monster, yeah, it's been stomping around Tokyo. It's a Godzilla joke, right? And she's like, that's proven that he abused me in Tokyo. It's like, are you kidding me? He's making Godzilla jokes. He's saying that he's a monster stomping around Tokyo. But she weaponized any statement that had anything whatsoever to do with monster. If monster came up in it, it had to do with it. But this is her statement in December 2019 about what happened in Australia. Now, she goes through, I'm going to skip some of it because I don't want to go through every word. But she says that it starts up about prenups, you know. Well, she says, I've seen Johnny's comment in this claim that the incident on Australia was supposedly all about me losing my temper over him wanting a post-nuptial agreement. That's not true. Johnny's sister had raised the idea of prenup before our marriage. I'd repeatedly said I would sign whatever. I had even gone through. So you've already heard her go through that part. You know, she said they did argue about a prenup, but it wasn't about having a prenup or a postnup. It was about Christy. So Christy. Got to throw the sister under there. So she says, you know, at one point later during this 3-day ordeal, he called his people. I heard him call his manager, his agent, even his lawyer. He was making all kinds of nonsensical accusations. He did his usual thing of accusing me of having affairs with various co-stars like Eddie Redmayne, Billy Bob Thornton. Well, you know what? She was having affairs with people. She had you have multiple people that we have not heard from in this trial, but we heard from in UK 2020 that said that people like Elon Musk were over so frequently that Elon Musk apparently had his own key to the private elevator. That's how often he was there. When Johnny was away, Elon Musk was there all the time. But she says out of nowhere he starts having these strange paranoid hallucinations, even though if you listen to the audio, she was the one on hallucinogens, and she can't remember what happened that night, she's saying. She can do a degree, but she's like, I trashed all this. I did all that damage. But she said, for example, he would pause in a conversation, have some sort of hallucination, and say, what about the guy you were fucking in New York you told me about? So the best way she could describe it, she says in Australia, was like a 3-day hostage situation. We were there for 3 days on our own, but it was only when I arrived that I realized I was trapped in this remote place without any means to leave, and that JD, he had been using and had a bag of drugs. I was in a remote house, at least 20 minutes from help. I could not leave. I was trapped and isolated with a violent person suffering from manic depression, bipolar disorder, and a pattern of repeated drug-induced psychosis and violence, who was on a multiple-day drug and alcohol binge. Over the course of those 3 days, there were extreme acts of psychological, physical, emotional, and other forms of violence. It is the worst thing I've ever been through. I was left with an injured lip, a nose, and cuts on my arm. She didn't even mention cuts on her feet. You notice that? She was drugged through glass by her feet, but she didn't even mention cuts on her feet. Why? Because, well, those, they don't manifest, and she knows that. Again, she's had to change this up over time. You know, Mr. Cut and Paste, thanks for that $2 there. Game over? Indeed, indeed. Now, I like how, you know, she's attached to lesbian camp counselor is her favorite thing that she's brought up. She's like, oh my God, you know, he was calling me a lesbian camp counselor. And he was like, well, she called herself that too. Like, what's up? She would call herself like, and well, again, I just always thought that was funny because, like, if that's the word, if you attach, okay, if you're going to tell me that you were abused in such a horrible manner, but the thing that sticks out to you about your abuse is that someone called you a lesbian camp counselor, you have to be kidding me, you know? I mean, really, you have to be kidding me. See, I'm looking at some of the super chats here too. I'm going to catch some to see what people are talking about as well, you know, while we're going forward, because I want to see what questions people have while we're here. I mean, there's so much of this craziness, just crazy stuff, and we'll keep going forward with it in just a second. I like I said, I can't believe it was believed so long. Like, that's the scary part of it. I mean, how do people take this seriously for what it amounted to 6 years, you know? Erica B, thanks for the 5 there. They need to zoom in on Johnny's hand and the gurney. They're clean and clear of any damage. And she said he was punching everything. Yeah, okay, here's part of, okay, so part of the story, I think this is a good statement here. So she says that part of the reason that they can disprove what's going on is he has no glass fragmented in his finger, right? Okay, what about plastic fragments. Would he be more likely to have a glass fragment from a clean, like a velocity cut, or would he be more likely to have plastic fragments from a supposed breakage from a phone? I would think you'd have fragments of plastic in your finger more than anything. But what do I know, right? Terry Moore, thanks for the 5. Noob, indeed. Noob at her story. That's so you win. Mark Smith, thanks for the 2. That slug is off her head, man. Oh, yeah, she's nuts, dude. Thanks for the super chat. Hey there, Tug. Just wondering if you saw the meme I made about Gordon analyzing her acting skills. Only 23 seconds if you want to watch it. I'll check it out. I'll have to check it out. I don't know if I've seen it or not. Eugene, thanks for the 2. Penthouse wine spilled, used for Australians picks. Well, actually, there's a picture that has come into question heavily. Let me see if I see it right off the top. I get notifications on it all the time. So there's one of her new pieces of evidence has a newspaper in the background, and this newspaper in the background actually isn't from when she said, like, she's using she's got I call it the weed pick. Actually, I'll just pull up that pic here, and there are posts about this where people show the place that it came from. I mean, it actually comes from a year later because it's the wrong picture. But, that doesn't stop her from making claims. It never has. It never will. She'll still make claims. So, but yeah, so let's see. Here it is. Let me find it. We call it, like, she loves using the weed pics, Oh my God, he's got the weed. All right, well, here it is. I've got it right here. Give me 1 second. It took me a minute to find it, pull it up, address it in the backdrop. All right, so here's a picture that she keeps bringing up. It's supposed to be part of the Australian exhibits, part of everything that's going on. Well, there's a paper in the backdrop that you can see right here. Like here's where they want you to focus, but this part right here. And who gives a crap if you're smoking weed? I think you'd be a lot more calmer if you're smoking weed. You can tell me that somebody that's been just, smoking a joint is going to go insane like that. I would say you're less likely to lose your rocker. I mean, that stuff calms you down. It doesn't make you crazy unless you're, smoking something off the top of it. Dean, thanks for the 5. Is it possible to use her 2016, maybe 2018, I forget, deposition in this trial? I think weird. She was not as arrogant now. She was then. Well, I think that you could possibly use it. Part of it, I don't know. I don't know how that would work. I do think, like, Incredibly Average put up another piece of that too, actually, for the denial of her abuse portions. And I think if people haven't seen her deposition from the past, I think you can also tell. Remember, she's had 6 years to get this stuff right. But if you look at when she first started making claims, if she was to get on the stand and act like she did then, holy crap, like everyone would have shot her down in a freaking cocaine heartbeat, Like, this is the way that she looked in 2016. If people haven't seen it, this is a brand new clip of part of that, but this is how, like, she sounded and looked then. Just listen to a little piece of this.
Isn't it true that you've been previously arrested for committing domestic violence against your spouse?
I'm going to irrelevant, harassing, has nothing to do with this proceeding. It's argumentative. Go ahead and explain how you want to.
There was no domestic violence within that relationship, and the state of Washington, where I was arrested, immediately dropped the charges because they knew the exact same thing that I just told you, that no domestic violence ever occurred, and my ex has stated such. In fact, it was so ridiculous, those charges. It was a verbal argument, it was misinterpreted, misrepresented, and completely overreacted upon by 2 individuals in a power position. And as soon as they found out that we were partners, which we were not going to be arrested for before, as soon as they found out we were partners, The male cop, not this other woman who's later been brought into the press, this male
deflection?
cop put me in handcuffs, and that's there was no physical violence, no physical abuse, and zero domestic violence whatsoever between us. It was a trumped up charge, and it was dropped immediately for being such.
Isn't it a fact, Ms. Hurd, that in fact on September 24th, 2009, you were arrested for...
Okay, now the conversation's interesting enough, but just watch her throughout it. Like, I'm just going to leave her up while I read some super chats. Just watch her. Watch her face. Watch her expressions. Watch how she acts and interacts. It's so telling. It's so off-putting. But you can tell that she is not telling the truth. You can tell. I mean, it comes across so much. It's so crazy, you know? That kills me, though. Kim Douglas, thanks for the 2. Thanks for the super sticker. Appreciate that. Faye, thanks for the 10. Don't you think malice itself in the fact that she didn't include his name because she knew it wasn't true? Because why not say it? She wanted to defame him for her own movie. She literally took fame from him. Oh, yeah. She's proven. I believe that actual malice is proven in the fact of just look at what she claimed against him. If you can't see the malice in saying that a guy did something horrible like that to you with a bottle, whew, you know what I mean? Red, thanks for the buck there and the sticker. I appreciate that. Celtic Warrior Poet, thanks for the 5. Tug, unsubbed or resubbed, so got access. I do mod for you when the trial restarts. Yeah, I thought you were supposed to have a wrench before. I guess it didn't. I guess it got dropped or something, but I added it back. Tiff, thanks for the 5. Hey, can we talk about the minute or hour and 9 audio on Steve J. Raw's YouTube? Posted 2 weeks ago. People need to hear it. I believe I've already posted that before. Or I posted clips from it. But I think I may have posted the entire thing from that myself. Bastard Luigi, thanks for the 5. Tug. We all know it wasn't the weed. It wasn't the coke or the alcohol. It was the gog dang muffins. That's right. Those muffins, man. The muffin man. He went insane. Just look at her face, man. She drives me nuts with this stuff. Like, look at her expression. She's a terrible actress. Like, look at how smarmy she looks. Like, I would have loved to seen her try to do this case in 2016. Thanks for the 5 there. She is poses for pictures in the middle of her emotional testimony. What more evidence you need that this is all an act? Yeah, I like her pose. I think that's. But look at how smarmy that. Like, look at that right there. Look at that. See, she's like, yeah, she's reenacting the same thing that now is emotionally stressful. It's killing her to go over. But back then, I mean, she could be like. Caroline Starr, thanks for the 7 there. Thank you for bringing the truth. Hey, thank you all for helping me put it together. Like, I don't do this stuff by myself. That's for sure. A lot of you folks have found things that me, myself, I would have never been able to find. So I appreciate you. Well, I mean, it's hard to find everything there. So like I said, I appreciate that you folks have found so much. Sean O'Donnell, thanks for the 5. Do you know if the audio recording from the aftermath of Depp's finger, that's Kipper, the nurse, Amber, security, was used in the last trial? I don't know if it couldn't be the entirety because Jerry Judge is in it, but some of it was for sure. Timothy Reaper, thanks for the 2. Weaponized autism is both beautiful and terrifying. That's true. Tammy Fuller, thanks for the 5. Drinking from a mega pint mug. I love it. Hey, thank you for picking that up. I think those are cool. I'm glad you got one because I think those are really cool. If people haven't checked out our shirts and mega pint stuff and all of that, they're pretty funny. And again, remember, profits, not proceeds, go toward charity. So enjoy it. Can't pronounce your name. Sorry. It's a bunch of symbols. Thanks for the 10. I don't know what that means. If AH was a bit smarter, Actually, a good actress. JD would have been screwed. I tell you, what would have won for her if she would have been dedicated to the cause. She truly wanted. See, she's not willing to do damage to herself, not even the slightest bit of true damage over time. If she would have been willing to do that, though, if she would have been truly willing to take like a row of quarters and bash that sucker against her face, she would have destroyed him. She would have absolutely destroyed him. We would have a different conversation right now. And that's a scary statement, but it's a very true statement. Let me pull up some more of her Amber Heard interview 2016. Because I think, like, I think that shows you plenty about what went on, too. So the entire thing where she does it is even worse than the. So that's just some clips there. I also like how Court TV claimed a bunch of that for themselves, even though it was actually the Daily Mail who broke that. I think that's fascinating, too. I'm looking at some of the coverage for it. So here's her back when. Again, like I said, you don't need to hear her. You need to see her body language. Her body language is what's telling about her. What she does throughout it. How she eats during this. How she just is smarmy about it. I mean, again, she's not suffering from PTSD. She's not impacted by this. It's not emotional in any way whatsoever. You can tell. I mean, you can absolutely tell that she is faking this stuff. It comes across. I've like I said, I've worked with many people that are mentally ill. I've worked with people that have had problems with. It's just, I've seen fakers, and yeah, monsters. Gabriel Badwell, thanks for the 9 there. For what it's worth, when it's all done, I'll show up to your live stream, even if all you're doing is talking about the pros and cons of Oreos versus Twinkies. 2 years in this case did that to me. I appreciate that, seriously. Like I said, I don't know what I'll cover after this, but we'll cover something. And again, I think these subjects are important. These kind of cases are important. Or Kelly, thanks for the 2. Did you see Paul McCartney tribute? I don't know. Hey, the Heisenberg Kennels, what's up? Thanks for the 2 there. Could AH have someone tamper with the metadata? Yes. Mo, thanks for the 5. Did you see the handwriting comparison image I sent to you and your friend betrayed video tweet? Are you talking about the... I don't know if it resend that. It may have got caught in a spam filter or something. Resend it to me so it's right at the top and I'll catch it again, okay? I may have not looked at that yet. I want to look at it. Sean O'Donnell, thanks for the 5. Definitely watched the testimony for this one, but I never followed the one against the Sun, so all of this is new to me. Thank you for covering it. Yeah, there's a lot there. Okay, for the Sun stuff, let me note too. So there's a lot of what you're not going to see. Look at that, the way she is there. But for the Sun, I mean, let me just show you. I'm going to pull it from nickwallace.com, even though Nick Wallace is freaking. I found it fascinating that this guy who I'm gonna say this again because I think it's worth saying. Nick Wallace. I noticed the other day, Nick Wallace. If you don't know who he is, he's a guy who covered all of this like heavily throughout the UK trial. He has his website set up with all of the documentation and on. These are all of the witness testimonies, by the way. You can pick up. It's at nickwallace.com, WALLIS.com. But you can read over all of this stuff at your leisure. You can see how it comes together. You can look at the days of testimony. It's all there. But Nick Wallace, interestingly enough, he covered this, and people were like, man, he's not really biased. He doesn't sound like the rest of the media. So he came out this year, and he wanted to come to this trial. He wanted to go from overseas here, and he asked Depp supporters for money. He didn't ask the Heard supporters. He asked Depp supporters, and they happily gave it. Then, when he got here, I guess he found himself some work. He went he went and people were talking about his newsletter, having all of these negative items in it that were, JD negative, and I hadn't seen it. So then 60 Minutes, Australia, a damn nasty hit piece drops. And well, you know it, Nick Wallace, the guy who begged Depp supporters for money, is right there front and center, just spitting in the face. Then he starts going on live streams with these insane fucking people that are on the other side of this stuff. Like the handful of herd supporters that want to call, misogyny this and, and sexism that. I mean, and he's right there front and center. The guy, like again, you can think whatever you want. You can report whatever you want, but you took money from Depp support. You didn't ask the other side of it. You took it from them. You fucked them over. You took their money and you did something else. And that is messed up. That is absolutely messed up. And it deserves to be called out. And I feel like that should be called out. Because, again, people got the impression that he would at least be non-biased. And when you look at this, he sounded like every other fucking media chump out there. And excuse my language for it, but it irritates me when you misrepresent yourself and you steal money from people. And that's what that was. That was theft. Because it was classic misrepresentation. Classic. It just disgusts me. Again, if you wanted to do that, if you want to, you can, like I said, you can cover however you want. That's your business. That's your prerogative. But when you go out and you misrepresent yourself and you take money from other people, that's not right. That's absolutely not right. But anyway, you can keep up with the trial stuff there. I know that was a little rant there, but still, that made me mad, because again, I don't feel any betrayal in that because I don't trust media representatives anyway. I don't trust the media. I think the media are garbage, and I think you need a reset button. I think you reset that whole damn spiel of them, and you'd be done with it. I mean, of course, there would be a few exceptions that would survive the reset, I'm sure, but by and large, they could just all be reset, and we would be better. As a society, we would be better for it. It says a damn sight when people tune into live streams from somebody that looks at this stuff in their free time instead of the media who could cover this 24/7 if they wanted to, because they can't get the truth out of it. I found it really telling, though. Like I said, when Nick Wallace took that money, man. Anyway, I'm going to turn that stuff back on. I felt like I needed to say something about that because a lot of people talked about it, and I thought it was dirty. I thought it was really dirty. Anyway, look at that, though. Eating through there. Just so crazy. I mean, where's all that emotional damage? Where's all the horror? It just kills me there. Hell's Gate, thanks for the 5. Gamma and saturation filters could change images that way. Good evidence wins disputed claims. There's a 5K plus watching. Smash that like button. Indeed. Smash that like button. Michael Singer, thanks for the 10. Ben King, in his situation, picking up on the fact she accidentally leaves one of her bags behind so she can come back later, is MVP AF. This is not the first time they've had to deal with her crap. Yes, indeed. Meredith, thanks for the 5 there. One of the dangers about bringing up the use of hallucinogens is that her defense could latch onto that to explain her wild stories. Well, her problem is that, she hallucinated it out. It would still be a lie. I mean, that would be her problem. Bev Fry's Bread Wisdom, thanks for the 5. Why is this not being played in court? I'm sure parts of it will. Some parts of the audio can't be played in court because Jerry Judge is on it. Jerry Judge is deceased, so you can't bring him in as a witness. Otherwise, they would. No one important, thanks for the 5. They have a whole week to prep to shred Amber and her testimony to pieces. I cannot wait for next week. Oh, well, and she's still going to be on there for a day or two before they get at her. But yeah, it's going to be fun. Renee, thanks for the 5+. Not only these drugs, but also prescription medication. That's true as well. She was on more stuff as well. And thanks for the 2. Can JD's team bring audio, this audio, talking about the other audio? Yeah, some of it. They'll have to redact parts of it because they can't bring up like a dead man, for example. Adams, thanks for the 5 there and the super sticker. Appreciate that. Timothy Reaper, thanks for the 2. Look at those feet tugs. Foot fetish confirmed, indeed. Eugene Knight, thanks for the 2. Wine photos they introduced was from the apartment incident. I saw 2 wine photographs in there. I haven't compared them to anything else, actually. Michael Singer, thanks for the 2. That hole in the wall is from a coffee cup. I'll have to look at that again just to see. Val, thanks for the 5. Did you see someone changing her IMDb page to Amber Turd? I did see about that. Christine Newberry, thanks for the 5. AH also colored the bruises onto her face with some kind of digital painting. I have screenshots of this. We're going to send them for JD's lawyer. Just send them over to my email for Granular Heaven, GRANULAR. That's Granular Heaven, HEAVEN, @gmail.com. And I will forward them where they need to go. I'll just say it that way. Christopher Morgan, thanks for the 10. Just joined. How do you think Hollywood reacts when JD wins this cage? Which I think he will. Will his career get an upgrade? And do you think all the people that doubted him will apologize? Some of it, no. Hollywood, not sure. Hollywood. Here's the better question. How do you think JD reacts when Hollywood, if some of them want to slither back in? Do you think he's like, yeah, I want that again? I mean, there's your big question, too. See, if I could afford to hire someone like a JD, I'd damn well hire them for whatever. I wouldn't care if it was like an Oreo ad right now. I would hire them for it. I would have him do an audio for something, for sure. Because he's definitely there. He's definitely got the money thing going for him, as in he can make money. People support the heck out of him right now. Elizabeth Morton, thanks for the 5. She made the argument that because of size difference, no one would believe that she's the aggressor. Like hell, she broke horses. Quite size difference there. That's true, too. I didn't think about it that way. Look at her face right there. Look at that eye roll. What a jerk, man. That's a good point, though. Michael Singer, thanks for the 5. Also, Ben King commented upon the entry scene. We're not getting the security deposit back, that's for sure. That made me laugh. He's an absolute legend. Yeah, Ben King, actually, I love his accent. I'll listen to it as well. DL, thanks for the 5. What time frame from her cutting off his 2 fingers, going to the hospital, was on different live chat last night. Host was believing her and their people. Oh, God, what an... it was overnight. It was from the chop off until later on. I mean, you have hours, like I said, he's wandering around. Like, I don't even believe, I can't understand how people can believe her. Again, one of the biggest problems with her story is the fact that everything comes into question. Okay. Like I was saying earlier, you have her claiming that she's barricaded herself into a room. All right. She's hiding away. Right? She's laying low. Okay. Now remember, you have these pictures come up. This is what I was talking about before. These are taken in the master in-suite. That would be your master bathroom attached to your bedroom that she says that she barricaded herself in, right? So she's barricaded in. Johnny Depp shall not pass. She gets to sleep for 12 whole hours. Well, here's the problem, like I said, with that. If she had supposedly barricaded herself in, here's the door to the master suite. All right, you can see the walls. They're all around. Here's the master in-suite. So you've got the master bathroom set up, essentially. And here's the master bedroom. Okay, you notice that there are walls all around this. Props to Andy there. And also, I had a very fascinating talk with let's just call them a friend of that certain Aquaman starlet, or perhaps an ex-friend, as it were. Who? Well, you can figure that out yourself. But they were talking about the fact that, early stories were argument, verbal, they turn into these overblown scenarios, and that you can check pieces of them, and you can find the problems in them. Well, here, like I said, here's a major problem. So when you look at the master bedroom, it has, the only thing that it has is it has a balcony here. Now the balcony's locked off, and unless JD is shimmying up freaking walls in the night, how the hell did the pictures get into the bathroom? Like, again, those pictures, those drawings were left in the master in-suite. So how the heck does that end up there? It doesn't unless she's lying, right? So like I said, I love the fact that I love looking at her story, because her story makes no sense over a long enough timeline. She lies and she lies and she lies. And it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. Michael Singer, thanks for the 5. Also, Ben King's comments upon. Oh yeah, I saw that one. My bad. I mean, look at those pictures there too. Just look at that. Carmen S, thanks for the 5. Do you think she was lying about not knowing Carly Simon? Yes, because Carly's name was on the mirror, since AH is in blues music. And also, Manson and Johnny Depp did a cover of Carly Simon. So, yeah, she knew who it was. That's why this is a shot. But it's also, it's not just a shot at the thing with Carly Simon. It's, she uses Carly Simon Mom, M-O-M. She's talking about go call your mama too, because she always weaponizes his mama and stuff. He was abused. She knew about it. She's always making statements. And we'll cover that stuff in just a second too. There's some big stuff in that picture there. So Justin Watkins, thanks for the 5. I'm sure this has been answered, so I apologize. But what sort of verdict can the jury give? Can't be as simple as guilty or not guilty, right? Yeah, pretty much. Well, it's not guilty or not. Well, it is in the fact that, yes, she did this, therefore we got to decide damages. Yeah, that's pretty much what it boils down to, though. Lane, thanks to 10. Do you know, based on the UK trial, what witnesses does Turd have to come? That worries me for public opinion to change. She has some friends. Probably she's going to have her sister and maybe 2 other people. It can't be a lot. She's not going to use a lot. Everybody that testified, I'm sure she's going to have the guy that supposedly took the pictures. Like, we would probably have him on the stand. They would try him out. But the sister and a few other, like, small time. But I don't think, like, again, pushing her forward first, that shows you how desperate they are. Also, thanks for the tune. We lost sound. Yeah, that was again, got knocked offline. That's beautiful, isn't it? Thank you for noting that, too. Like, typically, I may have muted myself, so I'm glad people mentioned that. Eugene Knight, thanks for the 2. Wine spill from the penthouse. Uses Australian evidence. Don't panic, thanks for the 2. Take off the Amica cream so we can see you. That's funny. Oh, man, thanks for the 5. Thank you so much for putting all this work in to expose this disgusting woman. She's sick, twisted, and I hope she loses everything. Thank you again. Like I said, I appreciate all of you folks that put this stuff out there. Restless Medic, thanks for the 20 there. As a paramedic, is half of this is relayed to me about a patient. The patient I determined to be a trauma alert and immediately transport lights and sirens to trauma center. The fact that she didn't go is suspect. Exactly. I mean, if somebody told me this, if somebody told me this story as a mental health professional on my side, again, I've worked in mental health for a while. I've diagnosed countless people. If they told me these stories and there were no signs of it, I would be looking at some kind of either personality issue, or I would be looking at, first I would make sure that they were having no auditory or visual hallucinations, no paranoia, no paranoid ideation in any way, just to see if the schizophrenia is actually manifest in it. Because, I mean, really, and then after that, I'd start controlling for other variables. I'd start controlling for, fakery, because, I mean, again, there's nothing to prove it happened. Yeah, thanks for the 5 there. The fact that she keeps bringing up pointless details like the dress that she dyed pink, yeah, or the fabric or nightgown was, or even the carpet, like she's brought it up. I also like how she said that Johnny Depp kicked her in the back on the airplane, right? She said he kicked her, she fell to the thing, and you could hear a pin drop. Now, you've heard the audio from the so-called plane exhibits, and as Keenan Wyatt said too, anytime like they were on the plane, he couldn't hear anything because of engine roar. If you've ever been on a plane, it's loud. It's loud. You can't hear a pin drop. You couldn't hear like 100 pin drops, you know? I mean, it doesn't work that way. But she made it, oh man, when this happened, you could hear a pin drop because of the silence. Yeah, the silence isn't deafening in a moment like that. Again, give me 1 second. I'm opening something. Again, that's a lie. It's a big one. Cheryl B, thanks for the 2. My cat scratched deeper than that, indeed. Dean, thanks for the 10. Is it possible to use the deposition? That's what got us on that. Let me see. I'm skipping forward a little bit. Give me 1 second. I'm stunned that the world believed this woman. Like, can you believe how many people fell in and believed her? Like I said, that should scare every one of you out there, because this could be, I mean, think about what could be done to one of your lives. Hanskir, thanks for the 5. Does the cross on AH count towards JD's clock? Yes, it counts against him. Anything that they're doing, cross and everything, it counts against him. Josh, thanks for the 5. How great if JD's team calls Amber back to the stand but uses this deposition to show how she acted about it. And then, in contrast to this time, well, I'm sure they'll bring up certain things just to show what kind of liar she is. Shannon, thanks for the 2. She is harming DV SA survivors like myself. Yes, she does plenty of harm to you all, because it makes it. She helps create a world where you're not believed. And it's messed up. Michelle, thanks for the 2. Can JD submit video, her in the UK, to show her demeanor? Possibly, but I mean, really, they're just going to take what's there and show her now. They don't have any body language experts or anyone. I think what she showed, there's no way the jury looked at that and they thought, wow, this woman can't cry or anything, but yet that's real. Maybe a couple of them did, but no way. Not all of them. Mr. Cut and Paste, thanks for 5. I spent the last 10 days in COVID jail, tested, no symptoms. The hearing evidence tug, this whole community has kept me sane. Thank you. I'm glad for that. Myself, I spent 13 days with, fever downage when I was going through this stuff, and I communicated. I mean, I was sick, and I did have my symptoms, and people kept me from going nuts, so I appreciate that. Jeeves, thanks for the 5. Why didn't Depp's attorney pull in Amber's makeup artist? I don't know. That's a good question. Kyle, thanks for the 2. Kevin Costner thing. Have you checked into that? Yeah, I actually. So if people have never heard of the Kevin Costner thing, now this is an allegation. This isn't proved. But so Kevin Costner, the media reported this. Now I'm gonna pull it up over my Instagram post that I made. Yeah, I was one of the places that actually somebody reported it to me. Now I'm not saying that I found it, but yeah, I reported this way back when, so that's how I know about it, And I did a like little meme type post. So let me pull that up and I'll show you it. It'll just take me a minute because I gotta find it on Instagram real quick, but it's worth it, And again, we don't know for sure that it happened. We have no idea, but the idea of it sounds just like, so when JD was talking about the trailer incident, when he was talking about her coming to his trailer and doing this and that, it actually sounds like the Kevin Costner allegation. Kevin Costner too, like I said, we don't know for sure that he said this, but here, I'm going to put it in front of you, okay? This is what was supposedly said with Kevin Costner. 1 minute, I'm going to lock it on. Okay, so this is the Kevin Costner supposed quote. This was quoted in the media. It was supposedly in front of people. I'm the one who put the picture on and stuff just to say. When you broke up with him, talking about JD, for a day or two, though, it didn't take you long to find your way into my trailer naked, though, did it? That's supposedly what Kevin Costner said to Amber Heard. Supposedly. So again, you know, that was reported in the media. The media used to report all kinds of messed up stuff about Amber Heard, you know, what she was supposedly doing. And, oh, man. Like I said, I thought that was kind of interesting. Tragic Mouse, thanks for the two. Petitionchange.org. Yeah, her petition, wow, it's something so far. I'll probably report on that again. Officer Squarehead, that's funny. I like that statement too. Thanks for the 7th. Can they use her definition of DV against her in this depo, saying that an argument between her and her ex was not DV? They could possibly, although I found it fascinating, the judge didn't let them bring Tasha Van Ree, you know, the former arrest. They didn't let them bring her in. So I don't know what was up with that. Chub Toad, thanks for the 2. No dead people, Judge, then why her mom? That's good. Well, they brought in Jerry Judge for like motioning and doing things, but they couldn't bring up specific statements. And the mom statements had been knocked out. Maybe they probably agreed to let certain mom stuff in too, you know, with both sides because, well, JD thought it was favorable, you know, and like I said, I'm not sure with all of that. I guess they agreed to certain things, but thanks for the 5 there. What are JD's chances of winning? I think he's doing pretty good so far, myself. What do you think the jury thinks about AH? Do you think they are buying AH's story on the stand? I don't think so. From what I've heard there. Again, it is an uphill climb for him, okay? Like, let's just be honest. This is a hard case to win. A lot of him wanting to do this case at all was about clearing his name in the public. He spent millions to present the case to you. That's what if you listen to Rottenborn, he said you know that speech that was given in the middle, you know, the speech where they tried to get the case dismissed. That speech wasn't for the judge or jury, it was for you. And I agree with that. That speech was for you. I absolutely agree with that. You know, they knew it was televised and they wanted to talk to you. Nicholsworth, my 10 cents. Thanks for the 10. What in the hello is wrong with her? I get that you cannot diagnose from looking at a person, but my goodness, I can diagnose a lying petulant child on site in a grocery store. So, yeah, it's when I say you can't diagnose, it's unethical to diagnose. But I concur with the statements about personality. And again, remember that there is no diagnosis saying that somebody is a cold-hearted bee that will destroy your life. Just remember that, okay? Z, thanks for the 2. Real question, are you kicking her out of bed, though? Yeah, with everything that woman did? Yeah, that's, I'm too old for that kind of crazy. I don't need that in my life. So, yeah, definitely, yeah. I don't need mental illness laying in bed. Yeah, that's just too much. Panda Rage, thanks for the 2. JD just got a job offer to play King Lou. Yeah, okay, he has job offers outside of Hollywood. Like, that is a outside of Hollywood offer. So he actually still has job offers outside of Hollywood. The cancel culture thing, the cancel by accusation thing, is not a Eurocentric thing as much as it is a Hollywood thing. You know, people like Harvey Weinstein swung the pendulum in such a direction that it's such a mess there. Chicken Canada, thanks for the 279. That's why my channel and you show her true colors. That's true. People should check out. I like some of your videos there too. I catch them, when I have some chances. So if people haven't checked out Chicken Canada, I think it does good work. And with all these media sites now deciding, I'm going to cover Johnny Depp because there's big clicks in it. They drowned out people who've been covering it for a long time, or people that have, when they were the ones that, remember, this didn't happen in a vacuum. Yes, there was an accusation, but the accusations don't happen by themselves. You have to have something that magnifies them and ruins people, and that's part of it. Dean, thanks for the tip. Putting aside all the JD proof and he bias for a second, is there anything in evidence that proves something is JD? Not her word or anything, just evidence. You talking about pictures or anything like that? Again, you can look at her pictures and say, what's going on with that. But again, her pictures are really highly suspect. Her most concrete items are her pictures. Her saying, look at my face here, look at this, look at that. The only problem with all of that is like the next day. Okay, so take for example here. This really, again, looking at this from a jury perspective, okay? You have the pictures that we've been talking about today. Again, not looking at it from a me perspective or anything else, just looking at it from a jury's perspective. Because again, they're going to have to ask the question, was there mutual abuse? They're going to be asked that. And this is going to be up to JD's lawyers to really shoot down, okay? So you have pictures like I was discussing. Give me a minute. This one right here, I think is a good example. Okay, when they look at this, what do they think's there? What do they think this is or that? Do they think there are bruises? What do they think's in this picture? And if they buy that, what's going to have to happen is JD's team's going to have to make the point that the next day she was on the James, like they've already ceded this point. Like this has already been ceded by the other side because they know that this is damaging to Amber Heard. She was on the James Corden show. I said the James Franco show, I think, earlier. She was on the James Corden. She was definitely on the James Franco show. Let me tell you, that was that hidden camera footage that we got. But no, she was on the James Corden show a day after. And you can, like I said, you can look that up on YouTube. I would definitely say you should too, because you can see, remember, like these pictures, remember, she's saying, I got a broken nose here. I got a busted lip here. I have 2 black eyes. I had a man sit on my back and rip out my hair and beat me so badly that he knocked me unconscious. But this is the next day. She says makeup and a little bit of ice on her face, and that covered up everything. So as far as pictures, like I think that the pictures have to overcome, but you have to, again, it's all in the presentation. So no, I don't think there's anything that proves that he was some monster doing anything. But I think that I personally, this is my opinion. You take this how you will. I think that she was going to kill him. I think that she was setting him up to murder him. I think she was telling everybody this story behind the scenes of abuse. She was telling therapists because she was seeding things. She knew that this man was worth $650 million, plus. But he had all that money in the bank. Then, in April, he loses $650 million, plus he has a $100 million tax deficit. So he's $100 million in the hole. He's got to figure out how to recover. Suddenly, she's no longer fighting to keep the relationship together as hard. In May, when it rolls around in the divorce proceeding, when he says he's ready to go, what does she do? She files first. She makes sure that she files first to get ahead of him. I think the plan all the time was to convince people around him that he was a monster, an abuser. She was going to talk one of her friends like Josh Drew into doing something horrendous to JD. And I think that we have plenty of evidence for that. I think JD is lucky he walked away alive. When you look at all of this story, it's horrible. But you know what? At least he's still breathing. And I don't think that was planned. I think that they were going to think that he was. I think they were planning on doing something horrible to him, I mean, I truly believe that. Veronica, thanks for the 2 there. Whitney didn't finish her deposition. Yeah, that's true. She didn't sit down the whole time, but we don't know what the decision was on that as far as JD's team, they opposed that idea of her being a witness. But like I said, we don't know what the judge said. Ripper, thanks for the 10. I heard her sister can't testify. She walked out on deposition with lawyers and it wasn't completed. Well, that's what his side said. But unless there's been a new filing that I've not seen, they filed an objection to that with two people, actually. They filed an objection for her and for the publicist way back when, because the publicist dodged a subpoena. She wouldn't even sit down for deposition. And then the sister sat down for, I think, 3.5 hours, and she was supposed to sit down for 3.5 hours more. She didn't walk out. She said that she had issues medically, so she had to leave. So she left, and JD's team said for her to testify, they want her to sit down for 3.5 more hours. So I don't know what happened with that, though. We don't know. Unless, again, there's been a filing that I missed somehow in there that has been very recent, because that was right before the case actually went live. I mean, it was right before, like a few days before it went live. Remember the discovery process of this case, too. Typically, the discovery process kicks you have about a month to go in and look at all the evidence, right? Because you have it stopped before then. The discovery for this case went right up until the month of April because there was so much crazy going on. So my Zoe girl, thanks for the 5 there. What's going to happen when she loses this case appeal? Yes, very much so. Psych ward, she'll probably have a mental breakdown, quote-unquote mental breakdown. Bankruptcy, possibly. Do you think she'll be able to hold it together and cross? No. I think that her story will break down. I think she'll have some real problems in cross. As long as cross is done well. I'm giving... I think the way the team has performed, I'm talking about JD's team, the way that they have performed so far into taking her apart on the stand, I think that that'll continue. Hold on 1 second. Let me see. Chewbacca Wookie, what's up? Thanks for 279. I'm the only one hissing at the screen during trial. I feel like that sometimes. Bitty Young, thanks for the 20 there. No statement, but plenty of statement in backing the channel. Thank you for your backing. I appreciate that message and appreciate you being here. Faded Oblivion, thanks you for the 5 there. I can't imagine this happening to my son. I'm the happy mother of a 3-year-old boy, and this scares me. Yeah, it scares me. You know, it scares me, too. It scares me for my kids. It scares me for everyone out there, their kids, too. Because, you know, there's both sides of this. If your kid truly has something bad happen to them as well, they need to be able to get justice, and people need to be able to look into that and investigate it. Especially, let's just say that there is a high-profile person out there that does this kind of thing to somebody. Somebody needs to look into it, and yeah, she's ruining that. So, G, thanks for the 2. Any plans to catch up with Nick over the break? We haven't talked about that. I mean, we could. I don't know though. You know, like I said, I was over there for about. I like Nick. I live stream with him on Saturdays. I've probably never spent that much time on another channel, like as much as I did with that at the beginning of that. I put in 40 solid hours on the channel there. You know, I decided I wanted to cover it over and, do things, since I was going to cover all the way, why not cover the way I wanted to over here? And again, that had nothing to do with him. It was me. I thought that I wouldn't be able to cover the entire trial, and I've been able to, so, you know. And again, I'm glad we could explain that to the law side of things. It's just, I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not looking to explain this as a lawyer. I look at it as a mental therapist, a health therapist, and I look at this as, again, I know a lot of details in this that, I think sometimes come up and are important. But, like I said, I don't know. We talk about it on Saturdays some too, here and there. Michael, thanks for the 5. She baby powdered her nose on the stand. Now, what happened on the stand, I'm going to tell you. This is what happened. That's capsaicin. That is exactly what she used. She used something to make her cry or to make her nose run. She was using something because she can't cry. And you can see evidence of that in the if you look at some of her other moves. She doesn't just put that on her face. She puts it on her eyes too. She's wiping whatever that is across her eyes. And I absolutely think that, like I said, I think it was capsaicin, because if you look at when people, like, they try to make themselves cry, that's an old trick. People would use Vicks Vapor Rub and other items. Well, you don't want to use Vicks Vapor Rub because you can smell it. That stuff is strong. You want something that if it's incidentally ran across, that people are not going to have they're not really going to acknowledge. Here's a good picture of it. So check this out. You can tell that there is something. I'm going to slow this clip down too. I'm going to slow it down quite a bit. Okay, I'm going to slow it down to a 0.25 because it's only like a second long. But you can see from this behavior that she is definitely. Oh, here we go. Check this out. All right, now slow this down, but look at the way she's doing this when she's on the stand. All right, look at the way she's wiping her face. Wait, put the sounds on. Okay, now look, she's going to her eyes and she's pushing down, and she does this quite a bit, and she's huffing into it. She's not breathing out. She's irritating her eyes and her nose. That she's using something to make her, again, cloud up, so she can give the impression of. That's why her nose sounds watery, because she's using an irritant. I firmly believe that. I don't, people were like, cocaine. No, it's not cocaine. It's something that's supposed to enhance her performance. I also I think the biggest piece of so I would say the biggest piece of evidence that she is faking her story. You'll see this come up a couple of times too. First of all, the posing for a picture thing, and that absolutely did happen. You can see it. I mean, it is so clear in this one screenshot that people took. It is so clear. You could see it when it happened on the stand too. But watch. Like, let me make sure it's muted. Okay. But look, okay, watch her on the top there. You can see, like, she stops. See, watch. She stops. And then, you can see that, like I said, you can see the flash. She stops and doesn't move. When you slow it down, it's even worse, because you can see her eyes and everything else in this. Now watch her eyes. She puts the thing to her face. She looks over. Look. She looks over. See her eyes? She makes contact with the guy who is doing pictures. This is Court TV, by the way, baby. So Court TV, who is definitely Amber Heard centric, Amber Heard shills. She makes contact with them, and she freezes. Now, look how long. Again, I slowed this down, but look. Okay, she's got that to her face. She doesn't move until you see the flash. You can see it hit both people. Look at this. You see it hit him? You see it hit her? She still holds the frame forever. I mean, look at that. And then she moves it away. She made sure that she gave a photo op. Now, that is damning to me, but there's even more that people haven't pointed out. Anytime the judge tells her, like when there's an objection, if you listen to Amber Heard, she'll stop talking, of course, but outside of the talking, she'll also go on the other side of that. She'll go and stop crying. Like, she'll be like, objection, overruled. It's like that. It's like, what are you doing? Like, she's trained herself to stop because they're afraid of offending the judge, but she stops her emotional testimony. Like, you can't just turn it on and off like that. You would have remnants of it. Even if you tried to, you'd be like, oh, I'm sorry. You'd still have it. You can't stop it. I love how cold the judge sounds, too. She'd be like, she'll be talking, and then she'll get on to Amber Heard. It just sounds so matter of fact and cold. She's not responding in any way, no emotion whatsoever to what she's saying. It's just astounding there. Thanks for the 5. Johnny brought us 3 steps forward. She took us 5 steps back for those who genuinely experience those situations. Love to all survivors, victims. That's true. That is true. I think that one of the things that has become part of our societal discussion on this is the fact that men too are part of it, because men can be abused, men can be abusers, women can be abused, women can be abusers. We need to figure out I don't like listen and verify. I don't like that statement. We can listen and empathize, but we do not listen and believe. Because listen and believe denotes that when there's an accusation, we want to destroy. We take that as it is. If you're saying, though, that I was a victim of something, I don't want to verify that was that. There is no point for me to go in and try to disprove you. But if you're trying to destroy someone's life with it or accuse them or something, no, you got to do that. See, and one of the problems that has come from this case, too, and it comes from any of this stuff, is we discuss. We don't believe all, which is fine. We should never believe all. At the same side, we never blame all. You can never blame all women, because this isn't about women. This is about a system that's broken. It is about people that are using this stuff for their own game. But this is not about blaming all women either. It's not about blaming all men. Like, you can't get into individuals are responsible for individual action. We have to assert individual blame. Then we can blame the system that allows this to happen. We can blame the societal reasoning for this happening. And hopefully we can change things, but we don't blame all, because that becomes part of it. It's so easy to do, too. My Beavers Unit, thanks for the 2. You should watch Believing Bruce about Pinocchios. I'd check that. Celtic Warrior Poet, thanks for the 2. Cancel culture is a U.S. thing only. Sorry for truth. Yeah, well, you see it pop up other places, but it's not like the film industry. You don't see it as prominently displayed like in Europe, for example. You still see people having jobs even though they're accused of something, because again, needs to verify after them. Humans, thanks for the 10 there. Did you see the ballet video 2 days after? Yeah, that's we were sharing that earlier. Yep, for sure. Speed Rack, thanks for the 10 there. The mods rule. Yeah, I appreciate the mods that let comments through. You'd be shocked by how many comments YouTube is like, verify these. So the mods, they're doing that all the time. Veronica, thanks for the 2. His finger being cut off could have saved his life. That's true, too. That's very much true. Red, thanks for the 2. She always asks for a copy of his will. Yep. I think she meant to bury him. She was mad because she wasn't in it. Christy, thanks for the 5. The difference in body language of AH's team, JD's is telling. JD's team seemed affectionate towards him. AH looked wary. The jury must see all of that. Did you see the hugs at the end, by the way? Like, her team was all like hugging her and stuff. And I kept thinking, man, I wouldn't touch her, because I would be afraid that she would accuse me of trying to do something bad to her. I would never touch her. I wouldn't. I'd be afraid. I'd be terrified that she would accuse me of something. That's one of them. Dean, thanks for the 10. Thanks so much for all your work. It's amazing. Do you have a complete list of all witnesses, or is it online? No matter what, after this trial, I hope JD is careful. She's dangerous. There is a list, but you know what? Everybody that's listed has not been brought forward. But there is a list. You can just look up, if you're on Twitter, just look up Johnny Depp's witnesses, and you'll have, there's entire lists of them there. But yeah, I also did a video talking about all of his witnesses. So you could look that up, and it described, we didn't know who all these people were at the time. So, somebody was breaking some of them down. Like Keenan Wyatt, we didn't know he was, I didn't realize he was on the plane, for example. We had heard from other people, but they kept using KW, and I didn't know who KW was. This is what I mean, if you don't know what I'm talking about. So in the last trial, we had a picture of the plane ride that was supplied. Give me 1 minute. I'm pulling this up. We had a picture that was supplied by Stephen Duders. Okay, and it's in his testimony. Like, we actually get to see how this stuff's laid out, and I think that's important, to be able to say that as well. But I didn't know who some of these. Like I said, I didn't know who that was, because they didn't really go over who. They just listed him as KW. So there's actually a diagram that was drawn of the plane, where she supposedly had her back kicked. Yeah, I'm making this as small as I can so you can see it. But the plane itself, here's the diagram of it. So check that out. You have Stephen Duders, you have Jerry Judge, Keenan Wyatt, KW, he's facing the other way. Remember, he was talking about how loud it was and stuff. So you have her sitting in here right at the aisle seat. You have JD here. Remember, these are secured to the ground. So her story, of getting kicked and stuff, it just doesn't make a lot of sense when you look at how this is laid out. And she's also saying everyone that works with JD would just let him do whatever. Oh, he's a monster. Well, they'll just, you got kicked in the back. Well, sorry about your luck, Sorry about your luck, indeed. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that stuff out there, and there's even more. Like I say, if you want to review stuff, first of all, you can look up the witness list. But if you want to review stuff, again, you could go to Nick Wallace's, WALLIS.com, because he has all of that stuff still up there. I'd grab all of it, too, and put it somewhere else in case he changes his mind, because he's gone full freaking Amber Heard simp mode, in my opinion. Christopher Mays, thanks for the 20. Will this judge allow impeachment by deposition video clip? I don't know. I don't feel like she would bring in certain video clips in there. And again, if it's like using her own testimony from before, I don't know about that. I don't even know if that would be how you'd want to go. You could take her as she is. You could take certain statements that she made in the past and utilize those. That would work. But it just depends on, when you're talking about by the deposition, I don't know if they'd even want to do that unless it's about a statement that she made. Like, if it's just about body language and stuff, don't do that. Allie, thanks for the 2 there. Search Samantha McMillan, Amber Heard, her stylist. I did a video on that the other day. Makeup artist. I put that out there. Yeah, I think I did that yesterday. But yeah, I've been trying to go back and cover stuff that, I forget. Again, I saw people bring forth the audio. Talking about the audio from all of this, when they were like, people were like, oh man, did you hear this brand new audio? And I was like, yeah, I heard it in 2020. I forgot people hadn't heard that. So there's a lot more stuff out there, because there's new people that are tuning in. And I'm glad new people are catching on to it. I just forget how much stuff is out there that people, it's easy to forget other people haven't seen that stuff. So that's why, I covered that. There's another person that Amber Heard turned on too. I'll probably, I'll do a video on that maybe tomorrow too. Hunt 3516, thanks for the 2. Will Amber turn into a demon if she loses? Yes, she'll probably literally do it. I've been revealed, her true form, and she'll start taking out people in the court. Jill Lovington, thanks for the 5. I can hot pepper sauce. You need more capsaicin than she probably had in that hanky. Well, the thing you'd have to have is something that people can smell. So you need something that they could use and keep it down. I mean, she could put that in there and just suck it in or something and rub it on her eyes. I mean, and again, it couldn't be, there are all kinds of different things. People use lemon juice, for stuff, but I don't see how that would work very well, but it's probably, it's an irritant of something, they won't bring that into the courtroom, by the way, because you can't make that work for yourself. They could call like they could say, "Oh, I think she has something on her tissues," but man, if you didn't catch her with it, woo, you'd have a problem. You know. Oh, thanks for the super chat there. Can you share your email? I'd like to help with my art. Yeah, my email is granular, GRANULAR, heaven, HEAVEN. So granularheaven at gmail.com. Why is that name? I don't remember. You go. Thanks for the 5 there. Did you see the MSN? The mainstream media is pushing what Jennifer Gray supposedly said in her book about when she dated JD. It seems super suspect with the timing. That's how they are. They're just so, it's like, yeah. Muffins, thanks for the 5. Did you think that withholding his meds at Lion was a way to try to get end himself? Thanks for all your continued hard work. I think that could be part of it. I mean, withdrawal is something, if people have been through it before, you know what I mean. But withdrawal is not. It is an awful, horrible feeling. Like your muscles and your body, you can't temperature regulate. It's terrible feeling. Like the wounded animal sounds. I very much believe that was him in withdrawal. I don't believe that was him on alcohol and drugs. I think that was him in withdrawal because it's God, it's so awful. It's such an awful feeling. It's one of the worst things that you can experience because you have to experience it for days to weeks, depending on what you've taken, depending on the half-life of the substance you've taken. Sam W., thanks for the 2. She shouldn't be allowed to on the stand with tissue. She, there's some stuff with it. Bill Booty, thanks for the 2. Nick has a larger version of the pose video. I'll have to hit him up on that. Sarah, thanks for the 5. I would love to hear your thoughts on the photo of Amber and Elon, where Elon's eye looks red and swollen. I think that Elon was going to be the next Johnny Depp. I think that was the truth because after she didn't get her money, I think that she moved on to a bigger fish. She got $20 million from JD, but that's chump change compared to what Elon was carrying. I think she was going to set him up. I think that's why if you look at certain statement, or not certain statement, but if you look at certain times where she has like wounds on her arms, she's with Elon Musk. And Elon Musk, I think she was going to set him up. And then you had all this stuff pop off where JD wouldn't play the game. So I think Elon was probably being abused too. I think she has something on Elon. I don't know what that is. I'm afraid to speculate, but I think she does have something on Elon. And it's not the baby. I think it's more than that. I just don't know what. I have some speculation on what, but I'm not going to say because I don't think that's I don't think that's good right off the bat there. Tamers, thanks for the 5. Not sure if it's a flash. It might have been from the screen that's in front of them. However, I wouldn't put it that she wouldn't do that. Oh yeah, it's definitely the flash from the camera. Look at this again. Look at it. It's definitely a flash from the camera because you can see it on both people. You can see the flash bulb hit them. So look, check this out again. Like I said, I've slowed it down substantially so you can see the flash bulb go off, but pay attention to both people during that. It's definitely because remember there's a camera in the courtroom. She's posing for the court photographer, that's assigned. But yeah, if you look, okay, so she applies it. Now watch, flash, it'll hit both of them. See how the flash, it switches off? You can actually see the lighting to it. You see it hit their faces. See it hit JD's face. See it hit her arms. So she's, you can see it on both of them. It's coming from coming from the direction. See, she looks over. She's posing. She holds it. Flash. She continues to hold it until she makes sure that there are no more pictures, and then she lets go. So, again, look over. Up, got my Kleenex to my face. Oh, are you? You want a picture there? I'm looking up. Here we go. Flash. Again, you can see it hit his face. Flash. Flash, it lights her whole body up. See, it's not just the screen, it's her whole body gets hit on this side because the flash is coming from outside. And then, again, you could see the continued flash, so you can see it hit his face again, too. See there? So, yeah. I mean, you could definitely see it hit him, though. Yeah, I went through that like a billion times looking at it to make sure, because I wanted to make sure what I was saying there. Just know, I see a lot of people bring up random stuff that, is just speculation, and I'm like, I don't really want to cover that. But that was definitely pre-planned. It was definitely that. Just know, thanks for the 5. I saw Emily's video on SB. Similarly, these two, SBAH, are narrating other characters' intentions, but how would they know that in the moment? Sus. That's true. That's very true. Cheryl B, thanks for the 5. Is it true AH's previous makeup artist just released a statement? It's not new. It is a statement. So again, Samantha McMillan's statement is not new. Yeah, I covered that. I called it like makeup artist betrays Heard. I have the entire thing in a video for you if you want to check that out, if you missed it for something. But Samantha McMillan is not a new statement. But yes, she did. You can find it easy. It's Samantha McMillan statement. You just look that up, and it'll be a hit online. Yeah, like I said, I covered that. I think it was yesterday, and I think I set a lot of people off on covering because, a lot of people don't know. Like I said, I'm glad people cover this stuff, but yeah, a lot of people didn't, I guess, realize that was there. Because when, like I said, I put that out there yesterday. I decided to go back to it because I saw how people were reacting to like Australia. So yeah, here's the Samantha McMillan stuff, and she says, on the 16th, that would be the day after, that would be getting ready for the James Corden show, that there were no visible marks, bruises, cuts, or injuries to her face or any part of her body. And then after the show, Amber comes to her and says, "Can you believe I did the show with 2 black eyes?" So there's a lot of statement with that. Yeah, like I said, I put a video out yesterday, and I think, once you put one out there and people are like, "Whoa, wait a minute, I didn't know that," you'll get a lot of other people that will cover it too. And that's okay. That's just the nature of the beast out there. And if it gets to more people, awesome, But yeah, there's a few other people too. I'm going to cover a few other statements I guess people don't know about, because there's some other fascinating things that happen that I doubt people know about. You've had friends betray her. Well, I'll save that one. Maybe I'll tell you tomorrow about that one. That's a really good one, publicly. Michael Singer, thanks for the 2. Could be something coming up on the screen. RE Photo. Like I said, you could see the flash hit, though. I think I covered that. I hope that made the thing, because again, you could see the whole body hit for that flash. Because that's what the guy with the camera in the court, you can actually see him use a flash off and on, Thanks for the 10. I'm seeing many negative headlines regarding her. Yeah, that's true. I am. Does it currently appear as though she may actually lose? Also, was she snorting coke or hiding booze? So, booze, that'd be hard to do. Snorting coke, I don't believe that. Like I said, I believe it was an agent to make her cry. And she's losing in the court of public opinion for sure. Even in the media, they're having trouble spending it. On the stand, I mean, she could. I think it's in Johnny Depp's court right now, because they've met. You've got to ask yourself. Here's the conditions. Was the article about him? Yes. The ACLU stuff proved it. Was the article meant to damage? Was there actual malice? Yes, I think that was very well proven. If you look at this case and you say, well, what she said, that was definitely meant to hurt him. Did it do it? Well, we had multiple people say this cost him Pirate 6. It cost him other stuff as well. And then you have to go in and say, well, was there abuse? And the reason abuse matters is because this can fall under free speech if it's a matter of public safety, health or safety. So him being an abuser would be a matter of public safety. She would just be putting it out there otherwise. But if not, if he's not an abuser, well, yeah. So if the jury decides, hey, all of those factors are met, bam, she's toast. Sandra, thanks for the 2. Game over, indeed. Snuggle Struggle, thanks for the 5. Your words matter when you require people to believe you. The smallest of lies are devastating. The lie about the guitar is why Depp will win. Yeah, as long as it's presented correctly. You've got to present. You could have the best evidence ever, too. But if you don't present it correctly, you still lose. So they've got to have that, which you're right, all of that, and they have to present it correctly. Jen, thanks for the 5. Sorry if you already mentioned this, but was surprised to hear Jerry Judge is actually on tape saying, I'll stay with this idiot on the plane. I couldn't hear the I'll stay with this idiot. I didn't think he said that. Like, when I listened to it, again, like, I haven't gone and magnified it to the degree it makes my ears bleed, but I didn't hear him say, like, I'll stay with this idiot. I couldn't understand what was said there. And I've gone through a lot of the audio with it, even in that, I mean, who knows? Who knows what was said there again? But the whole thing becomes about, did somebody get abused? What was actually said? And like I said, I don't know what was going on in that entire mess there, but like, I could not make out what was being said. They were so bad. We had her lawyers telling us what was said there. Say, I'd like to sit down with some of that and actually listen, because I don't know what the heck. These things for the A, what worries me is the amount of evidence that discredits her. It makes it obvious that she's lying, but it's not actually being used in court. Well, you've got to get her through her statement, and then you've got to hit her with stuff. You can't bring any evidence in to discredit her until she gets through with her story. So cross will make or break her. That's where this case is made, Sandy, thanks for the 10. Seroquel is antipsychotic med. She takes, with her mood swings. Like, it's used, you have your on counter, you have your stated uses for drugs, and then you have your off-brand uses. A lot of different medications are meant to calm people down, and et cetera, and that amount that was meant to make her calm. For sure. Carver, thanks for the 50 there. I dressed her wearing an earpiece. I heard she wore one on day 1 and 2. I saw her reach up to her right ear and thought it was my imagination, and someone else brought it up. I could not tell if she had one on or not. Some people said that. I could not tell if she did or not. I would think that would be something that people would catch in the courtroom. But again, that's giving a lot of... that's probably giving people a lot of credit too. So, I mean, I would really hope that would be caught if that's actually the case. Holy sheesh. I just noticed something crazy. Janet, thanks for the 10. Can you really blame the judge for a reaction to Amber's antics? No. The courtroom, after all the crap she and her team did, no. I don't. I can't blame her at all. I agree with her 100%. In fact, Warrior Poet, thanks for the 5. Audio of JD is not on the plane. It's from the detox. Listen to air conditioning video of the island home. Yeah, the problem is, though, that his team, they disputed it, but they did not get that situated. They did not get that on record saying, yes, for sure, that is what we're listening to. And that is a problem for JD. I mean, let's just be honest about that too. So he says that, I mean, it's not, well, let me rephrase that. It's not a problem in the fact that what does that really prove? That he's moaning on a plane, but if you could attach that to him, being out there and having something different, it would definitely change the meaning for what's there. By the way, let me put this out to you tomorrow. I need your help tomorrow doing something. Tomorrow night, I am going to, again, we're not done with me saying this, but I need your help when we do this tomorrow. Tomorrow night, I'm going to expose some huge stuff. I've got some, I got some good stuff for you tomorrow night. And I need people's help of putting word out there when we do it. I'll put some of it in a video, but it's not even the tip of the iceberg. I mean, it is some monstrous stuff. I've spent days looking into that lawyer, the key witness for Amber, and I'm going to burn that stuff to the ground. And I need your help getting the word out there, like I said, when we come out, because that's big stuff. Red, thanks for the 5. TikTok video of the lady explaining Amber Heard never used the box of Kleenexes next to her monitor. She's at the stand and left with a Kleenex. I'll have to look that up. Krista, thanks for 2. That's coming from the monitors. That's not from the monitors. I'm telling you guys, that is not from the monitors. Like, look at it one more time. That is not coming from the monitors. Look at this. Like, they use a flash in the courtroom. So you can see it. You can see it off and on anyway, but it's not from that. Because again, it's not from an evidence change up. It's from the camera. Like her outside, let's see, her outside. Again, you got to remember where that shot's coming from. Like if you watch it in full speed, you can see it a little bit better. Wait, let me turn up full speed. Look at that.
And
she holds her stuff. Like I said, she's making sure that everybody gets their stuff in. But you'll see them, they'll use a flash. They won't use it every time. They'll take speed shutter shots. They'll use flash shots because they make sure that they get them in. But you'll see that guy back there, and he will periodically do that. You'll periodically see that come in. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. Munch, thanks for the 5. Happy early birthday. Mine is Tuesday. Happy early birthday for yourself, too. Appreciate y'all there. All I want is for Cross to come sooner. I'm so tired of her lies. Hashtag Amber Turd. I'm actually glad people have time to break down everything that they've seen. I'm glad that we didn't just go immediately to Cross with all of her crap like right there in people's brains, because, it gives you time to process it, and then you have time to tear it down. I think that's a big thing in there. Faded Oblivion, thanks for the 2. Do you think she believes her own BS? I think she may have gotten to the point where she does. Yeah, I think if you tell a lie, you tell it enough that you can actually start to believe it too. I think that does happen. You see that, especially with people like Amber. So yeah, I could believe it. Emily, thanks for 5. Agree she's posing. Don't think it's a flash because it comes from the opposite side of them. Let's see. It comes from the left for AH, the right for JD. Like I said, we disagree. We will disagree on that. Tavis, thanks for the 10 there. I must admit there, though, if there's anything she is saying was true, it wouldn't be so opposite from Johnny. That's what had me going, huh? Wait a minute, this is too different from Johnny. Let's say, I must admit, though, if anything she was saying was true, it wouldn't be so opposite from Johnny. That's true, though. That's true. It's very true. Brent, thanks for the 2. Does the jury have to be unanimous for Johnny to have to win? It's going to come down to, it's going to come down to a decision from just a handful of people too. I mean, really, when you think about it, yeah. I mean, you're going to have you have all the jury rules. Actually, everybody should read the jury rules, and they should read the jury rules, how the decision comes in, and how also all the backup jurors work. Because people were worried, myself too, when you start losing jurors and you have the backup people come in. I think that could be a bad thing really fast. Amanda, thanks for the 5. It seems odd that she has no public support at the courthouse, no fans, no activists. Well, her two big simps got kicked out. Eve Marlowe was there, and the crazy that was putting out flyers, Taft, like she got kicked out. So besides that, I mean, she doesn't have supporters. Like the supporter thing, there are people that support her because she's female. There are people that support her because the narrative is listen and believe. But there aren't people that support her that believe her. That's where you get into it. That's the ugly. If you want the ugly reality to all of this, people believe her because they're obligated to do so, they feel. Because again, hashtag believe all accusations, hashtag this or hashtag that, but they don't actually believe her. Like it's the craziest thing when you listen to people talk about this. Like they'll tell you a million different reasons why they should be able to believe her, but it's hard to find anyone that believes and supports her at the same time. Because again, it's good, and what I mean by that is it's this nice lip service to pay. Saying yeah, I believe all and I support all and et cetera, but when you get down to it, when you have to actually try to play by those rules, that's when life gets a little more complicated, right? I love the fact that it causes her so many problems too. I love the fact that she has so much difficulty finding anyone that actually agrees or backs her BS. Because you would think, like, again, if she, if she was actually believable, I mean, you have an army of people that are listen and believe, Jill Lumberton, thanks for the tip. Can't wait for your Dawn Hughes video. Yeah, it's fascinating when you find out that she's admitted in the past, that she testifies in things that she doesn't know anything about. She is a bully for hire that comes in with the same type of script. And there's more. Like I said, I don't even want to get into it now because I'll start explaining. I'll have to cut off part of it. And, it's so good. It's so good. Carol Ann Starr, thanks for the 7. I will tell people and keep me in mind if you want an extra mod. Love your channel, for sure. There are a few of you out there, and definitely, like I said, I appreciate you folks. The one thing with mods, always keep in mind, like if somebody does end up with modding, I don't want to ban people unless it's just absolute. Like they have to do channel damage. If they're Amber Heard supporters, they're welcome here. Like they are. They may irritate you, but they're welcome. Just like you probably irritate them, because I'm sure I irritate them. But they're allowed here. Many of them are probably trolls, but they're still allowed here. But yeah, I'm not directing that at you either. I'm just saying, like, I will probably make a few extra people mods as we go forward, and we keep bots out that way and stuff. But I really do believe in the idea of free speech. I think, like, here's a problem that we've ran into with this case, and we run into it with so many other things too. People that did not believe in actually allowing other people to speak and to speak freely really got this case and all of this other stuff just twisted up, because you going out and saying, hey, I believe Johnny Depp, they tried to turn that into sexism. They tried to turn it into racism or whatever, classism, anything they could. They could put an ism or a phobia with it. And it was all about shutting down speech. It was all about making sure that you couldn't say the thing that they didn't want. And that always disturbed me, because when a person resorts to that, they obviously, you have to question what they're bringing to the table. And they brought a whole lot of nothing to the table. I mean, they brought a lot of accusations. Again, I've seen more people called sexist and racist. Again, I mean, really, like I saw racism. I was like, how does racism even? Amber Heard's white. Like, where is this coming from? And in fact, if we wanted to get into the ism part of that, like, wouldn't it be more believable? Like, isn't he part Native American? So wouldn't that actually work in his favor? But, You don't listen to these folks too very very much if you want consistency. I've learned that too. I've learned that very well. Ace and four, thanks for the two. Hey Tug, how can you fuse a bottle with a fist? That's a very good question. That is a very good question. Maybe she's talking about shock or something. I'm not really sure. That was very weird, though. Shabaka Wookie, thanks for the 7. I'll recommend the video only if there's a picture of a Wookie in an Amica shirt. I'm sad there's no trial this week. Do you Amica, my friend? I Amica. Yeah, though, it gives us time to catch up a lot of stuff with the trial down. I want the trial, but at the same time, we can catch up things. We need to. Gigi, thanks for the 5 there. She's got pics of trees and driveway, but not medical records. Pics or videos of injuries. Right, exactly. Like she has to know her career's over after this. Well, it's even worse than that. So Disney, she burned Disney in this process. She absolutely burned them. And Disney, she threatened them with sanctions, again, through this process. So that part of her career is over for sure. She burned Warner Brothers. That part of her career is over. Maybe I'll put that in a video soon, too, just to remind people. Her career is done. I'll be fired. Her career is done. It's true. Julie Fernandez, thanks for the 20. Did you see... when she took the stand, she brought a Kleenex with her, folded up her sleeve. Now, I actually didn't see her do it that way. I need to go back. I'm going to watch just her movements because I was watching it in disbelief of just all the show she was trying to put on. So I need to just watch her with Kleenex. I believe she was sniffing menthol to make her eyes water. Then she folds her Kleenex back up. That would make sense. She needs to get rid of it because it can't be found. If somebody finds it with that scent on it, again, whatever it is, whatever she was using, they can't find it. And thanks for the 5. The flash bounces off JD's monitor, but AH's left side gets hit. Let's not forget that our new PR guy talked to the photographer the other day. Yeah, and here's part of it too. Okay, so he's not just talking. The new PR guy is talking to both Court TV people. He's talking to the Court TV lady that's sitting there discussing that, and with the photographer, making sure that they get everything they have. Because again, here's the thing, this always annoys me. Okay, anybody can contact me. Like I said, everyone can contact me, but no one can have my voice. For them, hey, they get an exclusive in there. They get to talk about something from the team herd side of things. Oh yeah, they got a special in there for. I've got enough sourcing out there that I don't feel like I need to sell my voice to anyone. But apparently they feel like they need to. Like I said, Amber Heard's team could have contacted me too. But their problem with that is that, if your voice isn't for sale, I guess they don't want to talk to you. And hey, I get it because... but yeah, they've been talking to him. Again, apparently people are not going to agree on the flash thing. And that's okay. Like I said, you can agree or disagree on anything that you want. That's the whole, we do all agree regardless on the posing for the picture thing though. It's interesting for what indicates it, but you can tell that she's posing and she's holding that pose. So everybody agrees with that one too. Your mama, thanks for the 5 there. Did you notice how she said she didn't understand why Johnny would headbutt if his hands were free? Someone must have prepped her for that. Oh yeah, she was also prepped for statements about the knife. So the knife she talked about, her story was exactly the same as her witness before. With the turquoise and the handle and stuff. They were prepped. They were definitely prepped for it. Hey, Sparrow, thanks for the 5. Hey, Tug, I recently discovered your channel and your breath of fresh air. Do you think Amber used that Amica cream for all the glass, she stood in? Indeed. Appreciate the comment there. Yeah. She was like, a little Amica now and then, It's a little Amica now and then will erase even the worst scratch within. What a crazy, crazy person. She thinks we're all stupid. That's what the problem is. She thinks we are all stupid. Gabriella, thanks for the 5. What is going on with her PR? Shady stuff going on there. Handing stuff over to the lawyers. Let's look into that. They are all bad news. Well, that's exactly. Her PR teams have always been, I'm going to say, right on the fringe of illegality. Like for example, her last PR team was caught leaking items to the press. To items that were supposed to be under seal and protected. And Amber never pays for that either, interestingly enough. They make accusations about other people doing this, but their own PR teams were doing that stuff. Let's see. I've got that. Give me a minute and I'll find it for you because I have it foldered up. I've been keeping stuff for the longest, and one of the things that Adam Waldman did was he showed us what some of the stuff they were doing behind the scenes was, and he actually the stuff with the PR team is fascinating because he put together 1,000,001 different little items out there that. Like I said, I just think they're fascinating to present to the public. So here's a piece of what he had. All right, this is part of an email exchange where you have her old PR team making contact with the media, and they were telling them, we've attached this original witness statement in there. This is what you need to pay attention to in it. This is also what our statement is. They were giving them ready-made articles to publish. So they were giving them that inside baseball, as it was, pretending that if you stay with that, if you actually, you go along with our narrative, well, we keep feeding you information. And that's absolutely what it was, I mean, it's messed up, isn't it? But it wasn't dirty enough. What they were doing there, it's still not dirty enough. They needed somebody that would take it to another level. Deborah Forbes, thanks for the 5. She didn't expect JD to take her on and clear his name. She underestimated him. She thought he would be canceled and disappear. I love his courage. Exactly. She thought he would just roll over and play dead because so many other people would. And again, she has to destroy him after that because how dare you stand up to Amber Heard? Barbara Rogers, thanks for the 2. She talks crap. Do you give her the breath mint? She needs some. She probably needs some breath mints after some of the stuff we've heard coming here. Like, how do you ever salvage your career after the pooping thing? Like, for real, how do you ever do that? It's so gross. So gross. Christopher, thanks for the 5. Can you tell the Amber Heard Disney sanction story? Sure. I'll do it really quickly, but I'll put it in a video too, so it'll give me 1 second. I'll pull it up. All right, I actually have it clipped, but there's more to it than the clip shows. So Disney was asked. Actually, here I'll just tell it to you. Okay, so Disney was asked to do a limited search because the idea that Amber Heard has always had going forward is to not pursue the idea that she was liable or culpable. She wanted a limited search that said that there was no statement on record of her that damaged his career. All right. So they did a limited search there. Right. And around that time, Amber fired her team again. She has cleaned out her legal teams multiple times because they've lost appeals to get the case removed. Like she wanted a change of venue, for example. She wanted to move to California because it'd be easier to get this case thrown out. When it was denied, bam, part of her legal team's gone. She wanted to compare this case to the UK case. The judge wouldn't hear of that. Bam, part of her legal team is gone. Again, she keeps doing this kind of stuff. Well, right around the time she brought in a new legal team, she demanded from Disney that they change their deposition statement, and that on their deposition, they say that they went over every record that they had. Disney said, we can't do that. That's lying under oath. So then they threatened them. They said, okay, if you're not going to do that, we want sanctions from you. We want money from you. We demand that you turn over stuff. And Disney came back and said, this is a bait and switch. We don't care about your trivial preferences. Again, and Amber Heard's team lost that was actually put before the judge too. They asked for it. It wasn't just a threat for sanction. She wanted it. She threatened them, and she lost. That's where her career is toast. So that's kind of a breakdown. But I'll put more of it into a video with that and Warner Brothers. I think so you can see how she has burned her whole career down. Gabriel, thanks for the 449. Gabriel Beowulf, thanks for 449. I've always appreciated the fact you allow people to say whatever they want. We'll mod if you need people, but no worries either way. Yeah, I'll probably, like I said, I'll probably throw a few wrenches out. I like the idea of free speech. Like, again, it shouldn't be limited. I agree that there are certain things out there that are not free speech, like destroying a man's life over false accusations. That's not free speech. Yeah, you said something, but really, let's be honest there. But you have an opinion. I don't care. Like if people are here, I don't care if you you have an opinion over politics or God knows anything. I don't care. Like you have whatever opinion you want. I think that makes us a better. I don't want to use the word community. Community, one thing I always have a problem with the word community is because community, it imposes rules on people, rules of behavior. And you see people that try to do that. So I like the idea when we all come together, we're talking about the same things. I like that idea of togetherness and stuff and that camaraderie. You can call it community. I just, that word imposes restriction too. So whatever word works better than community there. Ralph Mack, thanks for the two. You're a great role model, Umbrella. I like to help as a mod. Like I said, I appreciate that, and I'll throw a few wrenches out, for show. I'll do that especially when we get when the trial stuff comes up in the day, if people are around, I'll probably appoint a few more mods. That way we can keep the spam bots and stuff under control. NA, thanks for the 5. AH is a prime example of how people with unmanaged PDs tend to end up shooting themselves in the foot. They can't help themselves, and it's so sad. That's true. Jen, thanks for the, you see with personality disorder, that's what PD meant in that statement, by the way, personality disorder. Personality disorders, people have to want help. Here's the thing, you should never judge everyone from the same diagnostic criteria, because the same diagnostic criteria, and this is not to the super chatter, this is actually agreeing with them. If you're diagnosed with a personality disorder, if you've gone in for help, you notice that there's a problem, right? You notice it, and you're trying to get that fixed, and that's good. But people, like they said, unmanaged PDs, if they don't acknowledge it, they don't acknowledge there's any problem, they do more damage, like untold amounts of damage to people, and that includes themselves. Jen Selfridge, thanks for the 10 there. I hope he makes a coffee table book of his courtroom doodles. I'd buy it. That'd be interesting. I'd like to see all the courtroom doodles just put together. I think that would be fascinating, But he looks like a spoiled child, especially when his lawyer has to shield it from the jury. Thoughts? Thanks for all you do. I don't really think that his behavior looks bad to the jury in any way. And the reason I say that is because we're talking about Johnny Depp here. When people see Johnny Depp, all of the jurors know who Johnny Depp is. They all admitted that. They all know who Johnny Depp is. And when you see Johnny Depp, he's never been considered like your classical Hollywood type. He's been considered eclectic, a little strange, right? So people expect him to do different things. They expect him to be to be animated. They expect him to do his own thing. I just think that goes to the personality that the jury would actually expect. So I think with other people, yes, I think that could be damaging, and you are very much right, but I think Johnny Depp gets a lot of leeway because he's internationally known, and again, he has this image that has always been been connected with them. And that image, I mean, again, it's going to buy him a lot of acceptance and forgiving in the way that he's seen there. Annie T, thanks for the 5. Tug, I'm not familiar with the Kate Moss stare incident. Could you elaborate? Love from Canada. Well, the Kate Moss stuff, again, you can look up, actually, if you look up Kate Moss, like what they're talking about with Kate Moss, Johnny Depp. Let me see if you can find her stating it, but there's not any proof that happened. She says, out of the blue, she just name drops her and says that she's briefly mentioned Moss while describing when she punched him in the face. She said that, I don't hesitate, and I instantly think of Kate Moss and stares. Okay, now Kate Moss was with JD for a while, but it's strange. So she said in the British court, she said, I remembered information I had heard that he pushed a former girlfriend, I believe it was Kate Moss, down the stairs. I heard this rumor from 2 people, and it was fresh in my mind. All right, so she's quoting a rumor that who's ever heard of it? Now, Depp's lawyers were like, what the hell? Where did that come from? Because she just dropped it in her testimony at the last minute in the UK trial. It was never came up before that. It just suddenly came up during this trial. And yeah, you tell me. I mean, you tell me. Does that sound like reality? Because again, she just created this weird accusation out of thin air that none of us had ever heard of. And now, since she said it twice, I guess, that makes it a true rumor because somebody repeated it twice. Never mind the fact that it's the person that made it up that's repeating it, I guess. But yeah, she's the one who just birthed that out of nowhere. If you never heard it, hey, you're not alone. Like nobody else had ever heard of it either until she just straight up made it up. I mean, it's the weirdest thing. I remember when she brought that up, I was like, what the world is she talking about? It's so bizarre. Thanks for the 10. You can't grow if your perspective is never challenged. If you only surround yourself with people who agree with all your opinions, you'll be stunned. Yeah, that's true. And you know what? If we're talking about like YouTube and all of that stuff, like never, here's something that I say to people, and a lot of people don't seem to grasp this. You never personalize the internet. You never personalize anything around. If we're talking about speech exchanges and stuff, you can't ever personalize this place because this isn't. You can find great people there and everything else, but man, crazy stuff happens all the time online. Like crazy stuff. And unless it's aimed at your real life or something, you roll with most of it. I ignore most of the stupid. Like I ignore like 99.9% of stupid stuff that I don't, and the stuff that matters, like challenges perspective, that's not part of that. That's actually a healthy part. Dialogue, discourse is actually healthy, and it should be allowed for sure. And Whitefield, thanks for the 2. When I draw, I don't want anyone to peek or watch either. That's very true. Mo, thanks for the 5. How crazy would it be if they made up the Kate Moss story to see if she pretends to know it? That was fascinating. Like I said, like they just threw it out there, and there was no. Again, you could just make up whatever you want. That's what we've seen. We've seen proof of that. Shabaka Wookie, thanks for the 279. Do you think she'll use magical in her testimony? Yeah, she uses magical thinking in her testimony. Senorita, thanks for that 50 there. Thank you for that. Thanks for all you have done in this case. As far as AH's testimony, it's a performance career. Any proportions. Keep up the great work. Thank you for that. Yeah, It's definitely, think about it as her farewell speech, because she's done. That's the way I look at it. This is her farewell speech. It's all been leading up to this big long goodbye. Natasha, thanks for the 5. Her mentioning Kate Moss probably opened the door for JD's team to bring her up for our prior arrest for DV. You to wonder, when they bring up prior relationships, you do have to wonder if that does bring up the door, because apparently the judge didn't agree that the door was open previously. So I'm curious what it takes to open that door to prior relationships. But yeah, I mean, that's a very good statement. Michael Singer, thanks for the 5. AH calling JD moaning and Detox howling. That is a jab at JD's Dior commercial, 100%. She is trying to poison everything everywhere. I'd never thought about the howling comment there, but yes, anything that she could harm, she's tried to do harm to. I very much agree with that. That's the kind of person she is. I mean, she's always been that way. Krista, thanks for the 2. His lawyers seem delighted with the Kate Moss mention. Yeah, because I would think that bringing in, I would think that would open a door for sure. I mean, it does make sense. I wonder that seems dumb for them to open that door up, just to be honest. Plus, it's something else that they can tear apart, because where did that come from? It had never been mentioned before. Oh, it's just a rumor you heard. Okay, good deal. Bat Goat, what's up? Thanks for the 20 there. Word up. The bat has had a few beers tonight. Enjoy. Glad you're having a good one tonight, Bat Goat. Appreciate you. Let's see. Mo, thanks for the 2 there. She's going to try to rub Amica cream on the jury. She better make them disappear at least. She tried to do that with a mistrial, I felt like, at one time too. All right. Well, I think we've been here for 3 hours plus. So I think I'm going to, again, tomorrow I want to do the go over again. It'll be some big stuff that we'll be going over. No joke. It'll be good coverage. You'll enjoy it. And I'll bring up some stuff in that too. Oh, Tamers, thank you for the 100 there. Appreciate that as well. Thank you. Just to let you know, I did think that JD did do it early on. However, you made me realize that I was wrong. I feel bad for jumping to conclusions in the beginning. I don't think it really had anything to do with me too, though. Thanks. Yeah, I don't think the problem, okay, early on, like you always default, like why would somebody make up this insanity, right? Like it's a thought process that has to be broken, because we want to engage with victims. We want to engage and be sympathetic, to be helpful. And there's this part of our brain where we think we wouldn't do this to somebody, so why would somebody else do this to somebody, right? I mean, that's where we get in that. And unfortunately, when you look at it that way, unfortunately, there are people that will take advantage of you. That's not a problem. Like you as just a regular person out there, I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with are people who, okay, even myself. All right now, if I have 200,000 people that listen to me, I have to be careful about what I do, because I can influence people to do all kinds of stuff, I could influence anyway. What's up, Gail? I could influence people to do just crazy things if I'm not careful. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to influence their thinking. I want to go and look at it. But you, just as a regular person trying to figure this out, you learn from it. And I hope societally we learn from that. See, we've had our thought process poisoned. And part of it is, it's not necessarily Me Too, but it's the same thinking that drives us to just listen and believe. It's people that are hijacking us emotionally. And that's wrong. That's 100% wrong. It's garbage there. You can influence me to watch you on TV. I'll take that. Yeah. But anyway, tomorrow, like I said, we'll do this. We'll do that, and we'll break down. I'll put a video out on stuff too. But I'm going to leave you with a little sexy toast. And like I said, I appreciate the heck out of what you folks do too. So, in that, never take anything I say when I talk about that stuff. I talk about celebrities, I talk about companies and that, but I'm not just talking about just ordinary folks out there doing their thing. It's I think a lot of influence has been pushed on us, and it's influenced a lot of us that we have to readjust our mindset. But anyway, sexy toast here it comes. Man, all out of it. All out of that. All out of that love. What's up, King Lake Super Chat? Well, did I miss one of you? I pulled up the window. Let me check it again. Give me 1 second. God, I mean, there's so much stuff out there, though. This case is so big. I'm glad that people got to see it live, because if you didn't get to see it live, would you believe this? I mean, honestly, would you believe this case is real? Because I would have trouble. I would have trouble actually believing some of the stuff that I've heard out there. Some of the stuff that I've seen being real. Again, it's amazing the conservative. This shows you what people with a lot of money can do to your life and livelihood. King Lake, I see you there. Thanks for the 5 shekels for Lug and Bug. Can't wait to hang at Anime Watsuri to meet all the others. Happy Mother's Day to Lola. Neon Revenant sign up is on Indiegogo. Yes, King Lake there's a book called Neon Revenant. If you're here tomorrow too, make sure you share it, King Lake. Share your sign up for it. But yeah, there's a book that King Lake's good people. Very good people. So he has, like I said, a sign up for a book called Neon Revenant. Make sure that you hit that for sure. Hey, Bearcata, what's up? Thanks for the Bearcata. Thanks for the 20 there. I saw on another channel that AH's father was jailed for doing horrible things with dogs in a pit, and she gave JD's little dogs to her father. I don't know where the dogs actually went. I haven't seen any proof that the dogs went to the father, but that is correct about the dad. He was dog fighting. He did sell narcotics. He did dog fight, and it led to the deaths of some pit bulls. And he was involved in other criminal stuff. It basically the same type of abuses that she says that JD did. Yes, her dad actually was responsible for. And it's fascinating. Again, she would take things that are the sins of her parents or the sins of her family, and she would transpose them on JD, because again, it's easy to hit the reset button, and it's easy to point the finger at another person. But anyway, we'll continue more tomorrow. Like I said, we got an entire week to do this stuff. Every day, baby, let's do it. Every day. All right, I'm out of here. Appreciate you folks. Good times. Later, folks.